Roll audio. It's what's up, we roll audio. That's what we do. We're rolling audio now, in fact.
Yay.
Alright. Who's Concernicus? Why are you Concernicus? Don't do that.
Who's Concernicus?
Oh, fine. What are you guys doing?
Devilish Concernicus.
It's a Saturday. We record What's Up. And I guess you went out and about and did your stuff early, Lucky.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say I did it early. It's just I usually go see movie. Oh yeah, usually I would go see him Sunday, but my friend was like, "Hey, I want to go see Bloodshot tomorrow because I got like shit to do." And I was like, He showed me, like, at first I wasn't too hyped about Bloodshot. I don't know. Like, I think Vin Diesel is okay, but I'm just too used to seeing him always in fucking The Fast and the Furious and the likes. I'm just like,
Yeah, in a wife beater and a muscle car.
Yeah.
That is kind of his life.
Yeah.
When he's not, well, he's really stopped being Riddick for a while now, I guess. Didn't he get another one of those? Didn't he buy that fucking franchise or something crazy?
I think he has the rights to Escape from Butcher Bay, the video game.
Yeah, we're about a minute in. I can swear.
But basically, Bloodshot is a comic book series. Let me see. Oh, he does own Riddick? Okay.
He really liked Riddick. Okay.
Yeah, he did. So Bloodshot is basically a comic by the American publisher Valiant Comics. Basically, first came out. Let me look at your wiki real quick here. Early 90s. And basically the premise of the story is American soldier dies somehow, and then he's brought back using super regenerative powers through nanites.
And because of super science.
Yeah. So basically they replace all of his blood with nano blood, which basically gives him super regeneration abilities and and other things. And it's pretty cool. Like, I'm sorry, I love my nanomachines. I just got me Metal Gear Solid, where it's gonna well, no, actually I know it was 2 when nanomachines really took off, if I remember right.
Yeah, one is gene therapy. There's probably some mention of nanomachines in there somewhere.
I'm pretty sure Fox Die was some nanomachine bullshit.
Yeah, something
probably.
Like that.
Yeah, probably.
It's more subtle in Solid.
Yeah.
While you're not even waiting for me to list off the patrons, you're just cracking open your monster.
I didn't think about it. I just saw it on my desk and was like, I have a thirst, and I'm talking about Bloodshot. I'm going to open this.
That's fine.
Well,
since you're still talking about it, go ahead. Keep going.
So, anyway, the movie just came out yesterday on Friday the 13th. And what I've learned that even on the weekend, the day after, you can get tickets for an early morning show pretty easy, and they're usually cheaper. I think if it's early morning, I think they're usually for a few bucks off. There's a term for it, but I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. So I went and saw Bloodshot. Vin Diesel did Early Bird, something like that. So Vin Diesel matinee. Is it matinee?
Yeah, I believe it's in the daytime. It's a matinee.
Yeah, matinee definition. Let me see here. Computer. A performance of a theater or a showing of a movie that takes place in the daytime. Yeah, matinee. So yeah, I went to go see a matinee showing, and I think the tickets was only $7, $7 to $8, which
that's a pretty good deal for a matinee.
Yeah, spent twice that on just movie food, and all I did was buy fucking nachos and a drink.
Well, that's your problem.
Yeah, I know. Well, the problem is usually we go out and eat before the movie, but everyone, and I mean everyone, there was 3 of us, we all overslept.
I know that.
So we only had
I'm very sleepy lately.
So we only had an hour to get there. And usually when we go out for, breakfast, we usually go to a sit-down place, where you have to wait 5 minutes for your food for someone to come take your order. Then you got to wait another 15 minutes for the food to actually get there. Then you're going to be there for another 20
plate of eggs and bacon and sausage.
Yeah. So we were like, all right, we're just going to skip food, and yeah, it'll be more expensive, but we'll just get food at theater. And we're just like, then we look at prices now we remember why we don't like doing this.
No. That's where they get you.
That's where they get you.
Usually when I go out for a movie like that, it's usually in the afternoon, but I eat after. But I also, as discussed, we probably maybe could have recorded it earlier because you were back earlier and were like, oh, I'm free anytime. I'm still at. I didn't say it then, but I was like, man, no, I still need to get my life together and get some lunch and figure out some shit.
Well, I was just putting myself on standby. So Bloodshot overall
through the episode 2.
Actually, do I have a casting list for Bloodshot?
But before anybody asks, no, I don't have the coronavirus. It's just my allergies. The pollen count is still high. That's still happening. Though, who knows? So, it's weird. We talked about this on Let's Talk, because we were talking about how it's important not to be an asshole. That your symptoms with COVID can be quite mild, if you've even got symptoms. So, who knows? I could be sick. I don't feel sick, though. Maybe a little short of breath, but I think that's just my sleeping and stuff is awful. I probably need to vacuum the floors, but I don't like vacuuming. It's hard. It's rough. I got carpet.
Yeah, but yeah. So I'm gonna say Bloodshot was alright. It was okay. It wasn't amazing. As I said, they used CG heavily, but they kind of have to, as you see scenes of Vin Diesel literally getting half his face shot off with a shotgun. And you just see, the nanomachines just slowly reconstructing his face back together. There's a scene where he's falling through an elevator shaft, punching a dude with an exoskeleton. I'm just all like, this is some heavy CG, but they make it look good. Like, honestly, you really don't care. Like, the story is like, it's an origin story kind of movie. But, story details are kind of spicy. You just want to see Vin Diesel, like, shoot people and get shot and not give an absolute fuck at all about it.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's like I said, like, this is like one of those things that we talk about with, what people go to see movies for. Like, when I saw Bloodshot, I'm like, I really don't care about the story, and honestly, I don't think the story is going to be that amazing, but I want to go see, some nanomachine, violence, and I got what I wanted for. I also got something a little bit extra. Lamorne Morris, who plays a character named, Wilfred Wiggins, is top fucking keck. He is so goddamn hilarious. He just basically plays, he's a British, coder / hacker, who just has, just quippy one-liners all day, every day, and that is like, I remember one of my favorite ones is, at one point he has just done the hacking and against another hacker, and he just says 20 quid on, he just said, sweet Jesus. Anybody? He looks around to the empty trailer and just goes, man, I really need to get me some real friends. And I'm just like, oh my god.
That's some quality writing.
Yeah, it is. So, like as I said, if you have the chance, go see it. As I said, like, do what I did, do like a matinee. It's good for, like, because there's some films you will go see over and over again, or you'll buy on Blu-ray, or whatever.
And also, go soon, because part of the theme of today's episodes will be everything is canceled everywhere, so
yeah.
Get your movies in while it's still physically possible before they have to close.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I'm pretty sure I won't be able to, I would go to, not that I go out to see a movie anyway, but I probably won't be going out for a while. Lots of movies are getting pushed back, for instance.
Yes. Sports are canceled.
The sports are canceled. A lot of TV shows are suspending filming. So I suspect our TV season at some point in the, not the right now, but in the soon future will be disrupted and weird. It'll be like the writer's strike.
Yeah.
It was so weird. I was having this conversation. Well, I should say, do you have anything else you want to say about Bloodshot? Not to cut you off.
Nah, not really. Pearce is. It also has Guy Pearson playing the evil villain again. He did all right. There's a couple other in there, but I can't really think of them off the top of my head. But nah, it's good. You should go see it.
All right, so I will really first, before we get too deep, because we're already about 10 minutes in, I will remember to thank our patrons like Iga Comics, Blacklist OG, Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Nestor Flores, Rogue Robin, Shawnee P, Son042 from Video Game 75. And if you like what we do, want to see us more, you should consider supporting us on Patreon and stuff. But yeah, so I was having this conversation with my mother this morning, because she went out to go shopping today. We usually resupply on a Saturday. And en route, she decided to buy several weeks in advance, so we're stocked up for like a month down here.
Nice.
Because people are starting to get crazy. All right. Like, Florida already instinctively, whenever anybody calls an emergency or a disaster, we already get crazy down here because we're a hurricane state. So it's like, everybody knows the disaster routine. When somebody declares the disaster, you buy up all the water. Apparently, stores were limiting how much water you can buy, by the way. Like, they were putting that on lock. You buy up all the water. You buy up all the long-lasting dry goods, foods. Well, the toilet paper thing is an entirely unrelated bullshit, but we're hopefully okay on that. But yeah, just, like, everything you need, we're stockpiling. And it's like that everywhere. And it's, as I was saying earlier, it's not even really that severe for a lot of people, but this is just our life now, is this whole pandemic thing. Sports are canceled. A lot of performances are being done without audiences. Movies and TV are being pushed back or paused in filming.
Mm.
Like, they're doing a Wheel of Time TV series that's, some of their filming unit was in Prague. They had to suspend filming because they're in Europe. And it's getting a little rough out there, too.
Mm-hmm.
And just, it's nuts. And this is what we do now, where everybody's going to be stuck at home for probably a month or two while it's building down. Because that's the thing, right? Tactic David brought this up. It's not terribly severe. It's hard to detect and easy to spread because it's a very subtle virus. I think we said this yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It's very subtle. You can go for like 10 to 14 days before you start to show symptoms, but you're already infectious, so you can Google people a lot. There is a slightly higher than normal hospitalization rate. So really right now it's just make sure you've got enough meds to take care of yourself and you don't have to go out if you're sick, or if you don't have to go out if people you know are sick, and like if your school gets closed or your work gets closed or whatever, because that's going to happen. Like I was talking about, I'm not going out to the movies. My local movie theater is a little bit of a drive away, but it's in an honest-to-God mall, which is still open. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be going on for too much longer in this shenanigans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, as soon as there's a confirmed case in this county, which there's not right now, so, knock on wood. But as soon as that happens, I'm sure that shit's going to get weird. My dad works with the Red Cross. He's already being told to work from home. So it's just, like I said, it's just a real big everything, right? Like, just everything you do is going to be affected by this, because everybody wants to be like, nah, let's not get lots of people sick. Luckily, we do all our work from home on this channel, but still.
I don't believe this one. Sorry, I'm looking to see if I can find how many fucking,
How many cases are local to you?
Yeah. And then, like, I'm seeing something of 123 confirmed cases with 18 dead. I'm like, wait a minute.
That sounds accurate in the past. I don't know if it's still... Well, in the U.S., we have a slight problem where our testing is not very robust. We will only... I think the CDC is only testing people who show severe symptoms, not just anybody. So our numbers are a little weird.
All right, let's see here. This is the Washington Post, so this is probably a little bit better. I don't care about your fucking updates. I just want to know the goddamn numbers. Let's see here.
Yeah,
it looks like we might apparently we do have over 150 confirmed cases.
Ooh.
But this is over all of Washington, but it does look like it might be a little bit concentrated in Seattle, Tacoma. And as I said, I live in the Tacoma area.
Well, also that makes sense because you got the big international airport and the big water port and stuff. Cruise lines were a huge vector for this thing, and they're getting, now that we talk about heavy stuff like the economy, but the economy's already getting shellacked, and cruise lines especially are dying real hard right now. Airlines are going to take a hit in the next couple of weeks, I think, because we're starting to close flights.
Okay, here we go. So, I haven't seen a death, but there are 366 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Washington State as of Wednesday, the 11th.
So that's higher now, but still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's actually true for where I live right now. Penguin Panda. Florida's like that. We're at the state level where you need a doctor's certification to get a test, I think. And it's hitting seniors the hardest.
Yeah.
Oldies. Though, hey, speaking of generations, Lucky, did you see this Joker meme that popped last night? People are saying because we're going to be self-imposed quarantine, a lot of people are going to be cooped up in their houses for a while. There's no sports and shit to watch. We're going to have a baby boom in 9 months, and we should call those kids coronials.
Well, that implies that there's a bunch of fucking couples.
If you have a couple, you're stuck at home, so...
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, either... I don't think so. Because if people are banging on a banging, they're probably banging with protection. And if they already have kids, they probably don't want more kids.
Not right now.
So, like, I don't think so. I don't think there's going to be a particular big... That's just...
Yeah, probably not. Not in this case.
Not in this case. If there was a, like I'm like, just how relationships work. If you're people who have lots of sex will usually protect against sex, and people who already have kids usually don't want more kids usually. So
well, it could be maybe that this is not people who have a lot of sex. This is we literally don't have anything else to do. That is a thing that does tend to happen with humans, is when we have these periods of like, a high tension, low doing things. There tends to be, this is why there's usually a baby boom after war. Everybody comes back and is like, "Damn, I'm not dead. Let's bone."
Well, they'll probably be like an increased amount, but
yeah, I don't know if it's as much as this is a whole thing. I actually need to check that source because the New York Post said that. Okay, are they reliable? I think so.
Because I said there's
birth control
condoms.
Linked a tweet that is more than half of coronavirus patients globally have recovered. Not none of that matters because that was globally as of then, which is not what the actual numbers are. But still, it's there is a going to be a rolling infection curve.
Yeah. But
and it does mean the Chinese are going to get out of it first because they got it first, but...
Mm-hmm. But, like, with the whole corona thing, as I said, birth control and condoms are, like, everywhere. So I doubt there's going to be...
Yeah, but what happens if you run out? Are you going to go out into the quarantine to get more condoms?
Who knows?
A question. We'll see. We'll see the demographics in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there will be some statistician without anything better to do than to look at birth rates and go, yeah, after that whole self-quarantine thing, there was a big spike. Whole generation of kids born out of that. Honestly, this is we live in interesting times, right? We always say that, but I feel like every new year, everybody's like, well, I hope this year isn't as weird and shitty as the last one, and then something weird and shitty happens, and you're like, But not the same. But yeah, so this one is we're banging in 2020 with a really weird case, which as far as I know, this is kind of, as far as the pandemic stuff happens, this is kind of the big one. Like, this is the thing, and I think I mentioned that I feel less alarmed just because there were so many goddamn diseases that, like, I feel like every couple of years somebody was saying, oh, there's some new horrible flu strain coming out of China, it's gonna kill us all.
Didn't SARS come out of China?
Yeah, SARS came out, bird flu, swine flu, H1N1, many kinds of special flu varieties, and a lot of other stuff.
God damn it, China.
I don't know, I think it's just because they have a huge population density, and, well, we've seen from COVID, Omega's okay being banned in China. The government is bad because of their censorship policies. They don't want anybody to make them lose face by admitting there's some kind of horrible disease pandemic, so they were telling early responders, early warners, that they were wrong and they need to not say that there's an epidemic on social media, which is maybe why things escalated a little fast in China, because they didn't want anybody spreading it around. Which,
well, guess what?
Okay, so you fuck over you might fuck over your economy a little, you might cause a panic, but at the same time, if you get people to actually stay inside, maybe you won't have a goddamn pandemic. Like, that's why you raise alarms. You let people know, don't do that, that's bad. Whoa, danger. But
I honestly, even though I'm in self-quarantine, I really haven't stocked up on anything. Like, I don't know.
That's the thing, right? Like, you and me, we're pretty, by normal people standards, we're pretty young, we're relatively healthy. Like, I could stand to lose some weight and get a little bit more exercise, but I take my vitamins, and I'm not, completely sedentary. And I could probably hit a gym, but I don't think, I live somewhere kind of rural, so that kind of stuff, infrastructure is hard for me.
You just need to do what Florida Man does and go wrestle some gators.
Or I need to buy Wii Ring Fit, because apparently that's pretty brutal.
Oh, Vesper ain't here. He can't. She can't comment on that.
That's going to be easier because Vesper's current nickname is Rat Queen, and I'm just like, that's just going to make that particular question a lot easier to handle. We won't discuss Vesper's personal life on air unless Vesper is here. But they're not right now. Anyway, but Vesper has been doing Wii Ring Fit, and it's apparently been killing him pretty hard. So I'm like, it sounds pretty intense. Yeah. Maybe I'll buy it. I need to buy a new Switch game, maybe, or just buy DLC for my existing Switch games. I've been really weird with video games. I'm developing kind of a lull. I've got a couple of things stacked in the backlog I'm not working on, other than that I am playing Final Fantasy XII regularly for streams. I know you're playing loads and loads of Rune Factory still.
Yeah. As I said, I'm trying to hold on, because we still got a little less than a month for FF7 Remake, and I don't want to necessarily get invested in something else right now.
Yeah, I need to...
Although, I will say Neo 2 is looking finer and finer every day because, apparently it's scoring pretty high on reviews.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. And I said it's Team Ninja, and it lets me it's a Team Ninja game that lets me have a female avatar, so I'm all like, yes, boob physics.
Yeah, so I don't know if I mentioned, I did, because I bought the ZX collection, I've tried playing some not just ZX, which I'm really experienced with and like, but I've tried playing some original Zero. Woo! That game is hard. It is harsh. That is 110% a throw your head against that wall until you break through game. And sadly, you can't carry over saves, so if I wanted to activate casual story mode, I'd have to go back to the beginning of the game, and I'm like, I've already done a couple of missions, what would I prefer? I don't know. But, like, they really found their groove in later games, I think, because in the first one, like, you don't start with the beam saber right away, you have to finish the first level to get it, and Zero can't do sword combos to start, you have to level up the saber skill, the beam saber skill, to actually do one of those, 3-hit combos, the pretty signature moves. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, wow, this is harsh. And some of it might be just I don't have a great grasp on the other mechanics because it's not like a nostalgic game for me. But yeah, I poked that one a little. Despite the fact that I liked it okay, I haven't really played 40K Inquisitor, which is a game I got that I actually played a little bit of. I just need to find time to game. But usually I'm in doing a lot of writing and a lot of various gacha stuff.
Because
I'm still working on Arknights. I'm going kind of back and forth. I'm in chapter 4 right now, and I think I need to do another spat of leveling. Maybe rank up some different operators so I have more variety. But there should be a new event soon, so that'll be cool. I need to make sure to chip up and make sure I have 15 primes, because Skyfire's costume will be in that one, and that's pretty important.
Kinda weird noises, yo.
But yeah, I've got some interesting things going on in Arknights. I finally got Hoshiguma, but I got her not on her raid up, but on the Exu Siege banner. Thanks, game. I talked about this a lot on Let's Talk, where I'm just like, Arknights, you are very generous to me, but in all the wrong ways. What's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think this is the first. Well, actually, no. FGO to me is sometimes super wrong luck. But like. This is the only other, I think, super wrong luck experience I've had with gacha stuff, where it's just like, this is stuff I want and is good, but it's completely not the right time for this. Heck, I told the story in gacha games, but you don't go there because there's like 50 million posts, so I'll tell you this. I got, is it Istina? One of the bear girls. I got her just on recruitment, and she's a 5-star. Just randomly, supporter slow was like, oh, here you go. Here's your lucky high rarity for today. I'm like, really? Huh. That actually does happen.
Yeah.
Because if I don't do anything better, like if it's my only combat, only my combo, sorry, I should say, I'll throw like supporter slow on there because sometimes you'll get an Earth Spirit out of it, Usually you get Orchid. Yeah. But I got a 5-star. I'm like, huh, neat. Don't know if I'm gonna get enough yellow certs in like 10 days to get Siege off the store. It's hard. I can get a few out of Annihilation, but I have to be really good at the brand new map, which is rough. Annihilation 3 is pretty brutal.
I still haven't finished Annihilation 2, but...
I've gotten pretty far in Annihilation 2. I think I just need to level up my units maybe a little bit more to get the full, like, 400 clear. I'm in the high 300s, though, in that one.
Yeah, same.
And maybe a lucky clear. Annihilation 3 is like, I think I got like to the 250-ish range, 200-ish range in my first couple tries, and then I've put it aside because I'm full up on Origina for the week, so I'm like, I'm not going to bother experimenting with this right now, because I'm not going to get anything out of it other than some EXPs, and maybe some rewards if I know what I'm doing. I'll just, take the week break and level up. It has given me an opportunity to appreciate Firewatch. I've gotten Firewatch to E1, and that's pretty cool. 1, because her range is huge. And 2, when you pop that skill and just blow some fuckers up, that's real fun. Because if you guys don't know, Firewatch is one of the Archer operators. She's the only one with a nuker tag right now, I think.
Yes.
And she has that tag because at her second skill, she randomly calls in a mortar drop on 2 squares, and I think her third rank version is 3 squares. But anyway, or maybe it's when you level her skill all the way up and specialize. I'm not sure. High-level skills is something that's still opaque to me because skill levels can be very expensive. But she just drops a couple mortars. She prefers to do it on enemy units in her attack range, but can do it anywhere randomly. And if you do it, boy howdy, they get fucked up. It's like, almost like Skyfire's meteor drops. It's like, it's a big output of damage that she does. I know you're still pseudo playing Arknights. You got any interesting operators? Done anything interesting in the game lately?
Yeah. So like, I haven't really been saving much. I've just been kept throwing. Like anytime I log in, I'm like, oh, I got enough Iridium. Let me just throw on Chin's banner. I got a 5-star. I can't remember who it was. Though.
Which one is it?
Hang on. Hang on. I hope I don't have to update it or anything.
I don't think so.
And that was like saved though, and I'm like, I really don't care. Not really.
I mean, it really depends. Like, yeah, you could do 10 pulls and stuff, but you get your guaranteed 5-star plus in the first 10 rolls anyway. So
and sometimes that guaranteed will be like within the 4 or whatever. It's never the automatic 10th one. So it's just during that 10 pool, or you'll get one. But okay,
so I like the game encourages you to spend on a little bit on every banner. Yeah, tickets I think are a little brutal. I wish they were a little more frequent in the game. Because you do get several in the search shop. It's just they're very expensive. Like trying to get 450 greens to get a cert takes a lot of recruitment, which I am running out of, by the way. I only got like 3 of those left. So I have to be more careful about spending my recruitment permits willy-nilly.
Okay, so who the fuck did I get?
It was on Chen's banner. Was it the raid up 5-star?
Oh, no, it was... Wait, no. Wasn't you.
Is there a way to sort by acquisition?
Oh, that's who it was. That's right. So I got my third feeder. That was the 5-star I got. And then I pulled a 6-star, and I actually got a little bit excited, and I shouldn't have.
Who did you get? Did Lucky just ghosto? I think he might have. He was in the middle of speaking and stopped. Hold on. Alright, I brought us back. So you were saying which one you... it was a 6-star. Which 6-star you got?
I got my second Ifrit.
That's right, you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, and, here's the thing. I like my Ifrit, but she's kind of niche, in my opinion.
Ifrit is really good if... It's like using Shaw or Feeder. Ifrit's really good if the map lets you use her.
Yeah.
But some maps don't let you use her, because she shoots in a straight line.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, in some maps, I have, because the maps that let you put the blocks down and whatnot, God, I wish that you did that more often.
Yeah, I wish that was just a universal feature. Lane control would be so useful in this game.
Yeah. But, yeah, and anytime I can just line it up, it's like, well, I know where I'm putting Ifrit, and she just flames everything, and it's amazing. But most of the time, I'm just like, well... Anyway, but, like I said, actually, I just logged into fucking,
Lucky, I don't think I have you on my friends list.
Maybe. I don't know, well... I know actually, yeah.
Well, for the audience, in case you don't know, I'm, Dr. Omega 6963. Yeah, nice.
Let me see. Where is my...
And I just hit level 40, and I don't have enough Prime Coins for the Prime Coin pack.
I am Dr. Lucky, 7283. My message is, my PhD is in wifeology.
Nice. I need a message. I don't even know what mine is right now.
Nanomachine, son. Okay, so... Actually, I should probably... Well, now that I'm in Arknights, I should probably...
What was your number again?
Shit. Let's see here. I just had it.
Because Arknights does the system like Girls Frontline, where it gives you a different... Or, heck, I think even Azurelane does it. You have a different UID.
Yeah. It's, Lucky 7283.
Oh, this might actually be caps sensitive. And who's your front and your support list? That's usually the easiest way to find somebody.
Liskarm, and then I have Hushiguma. Actually, I should probably change out one of you girls.
Because mine is Neural Exo, because, the game doesn't let you put a 6-star in your front slot.
Now just leave it.
Alright, I'm bad with numbers. What was the number again?
I want to say 7283.
7283, okay. I was like, wait, there's somebody with a list up front, but it's not that exact. It did start with a 7, but it was not that exact number. Wow, I can just not find you, I don't think. Can I put in the number to search?
Oh, hang on. Let me see here. Add, search. Omega number. What is your name? Number
6963.
6963. Okay, searching. Do you have neural and exercise, right?
Yep, that's me.
Yep, I found you. Level 40.
Right.
Request sent. Boom.
Well, let me refresh real quick.
So actually, now that I'm in Arknights here, I'm gonna.
I'm hunting Lungman dollars right now. We talked about this again on Let's Take FGO because you were having QP woes.
Yeah.
And just I'm literally in that cycle now where it's like I'm gonna spend all my XP. I'm broke. Good. Now I've got all my money. Shit, I'm out of XPs because it takes some work.
Yeah, dude.
Luckily, the game, honestly, with the way that because you can spend sanity potions to go up to 1k and they expire, the game actually incentivizes you to just chug a lot of your fucking energy drinks and go to town, at least, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm. I do find it interesting that your AP potions have a time limit, though.
Yeah, I think it's because they have a system where they pass them out pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, it incentivizes people to play on a more daily basis.
Right, because you can only spend so many at a time. Leveling up can put you very, very high. Like, when I was only playing the game occasionally for the story, I was as high as, 4 or 5k sanity just from refills. Which I slowly ground down because and I probably wasted some sanity potions in that time because you literally cannot spend sanity potions to go over 1,000. And also, I don't know, you know this, but you can only spend so many prime per day to refill your sanity. So the game limits even how you can wail for AP.
That's interesting.
So you're right. Arknights really wants you. Well, and honestly, right now they're running some special events for Chapter 5, so we have all the farming and stuff unlocked every day. But generally, it also does the Girls Frontline thing where only certain days are certain maps.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I've looked at those in a while. The box event had spend energy. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I don't need to spend energy. I just keep throwing people outside, and they bring me back strips of bark, and I turn that into combat reports.
It's pretty good, yo.
Yeah, my SOP mod is level 100 now, and I just today bought a whole shitload and put AR-15 to 100 so I can start working on their neural mods.
Are we done talking about Arknights?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't really pushed the story in the last couple of days, so I don't have anything to add. Just that it's goo and it continues to be goo.
Yeah. So with Girls Frontline, I've actually become a lot more invested than I thought I would. Just today I reached 780 boxes. So I got my Barrett, so I'm all like, yeah! But I'm like, I just started Chapter 3. Oh, by the way, Meg, I don't know if you realized this, but you'll get, there's AK 740U at the end of Chapter 2.
Do I care enough with so few days left? I might not.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I don't know if I'm going to get through Chapter 3, but, I made it to Chapter 2, and I said, my SOP mod is level 150. I was able to actually finish her neural mod. It took a lot. Jesus, it took a lot. Jesus fucking Christ, it took so much. Why does it cost so much? Ugh. But, I kind of jumped back into this event, I didn't fully finish the last one, and I'm, way behind on story. So, I'm looking at the story details in Girls Frontline now and going, what the fuck just happened?
What is going on?
And it's honestly, it's kind of interesting in an in media res, kind of fashion. Because apparently there was a dirty bomb. It was a dirty bomb made from collapse fluid, with the shit that is literally irradiating the world that makes it inhospitable for humans.
Because in case you didn't know, Girls Frontline is very post-apocalyptic and metal, and it's very bad at communicating this.
Yeah. And apparently the bomb was set up by Team Defy, or was it? No, it wasn't Team Defy. It was set up by, I can't remember right now. It was either set up by AR-15 or M4A1. One of those two. And apparently they have gone and they set off the bomb because apparently the military fucking betrayed Griffin and now they're trying to get on and shit. I'm just like, what is happening?
That's a thing that happens in later story chapters. You'll have seen them too, where military units just show up and try to push your shit in. They're pretty hardcore. Military T-dolls and tanks are fucking serious business.
Yeah. And, like, as another fucking faction has shown up yet again, and everyone is losing their goddamn mind. It's just like,
By the way,
am invested.
dubs. Spoilers for Girls Frontline, but yes, there's a lot going on. There's betrayal, there's motivations, there's semi-permanent story death for some characters.
Well, like, here's the thing.
AR-15, I think this is in the vanilla story. AR-15 destroys herself, basically, in one of the later story chapters, because she's about to be infected. But then in a later campaign event, she comes back in Neuromod form as part of, Defy, I think? With,
Team Defy.
Because she's basically been rebuilt, and now she's all cool and stuff. Yeah.
And honestly, it's actually say it's story inflation. It's like, honestly, it's not really, because I've been thinking about it. They've been alluding to a lot of here's the thing. Girls Frontline alludes to a lot of things in the earlier chapters where things are all nice and fine and dandy.
Also, things are not, honestly, thinking about it, things are not that fine, because you're still getting your ass invaded by hostile alien AI robots, basically.
Yeah.
Like, Sanguis Ferris is the robot revolution, the Grey Goo situation that are just trying to, well, maybe you're just wrong, Axe. Didn't people talk to you about writing on something about how paced it is? That's not how story works. You gotta, like, put it at beats and moments. Though, this event, I don't know if they do it in other story chapters, but, Girls Frontline, and also, who says it takes 20 minutes, you know? But there are a couple of maps in this story chapter which just exist to be a story beat. Because it's literally like, you capture the command post in one turn and it plays the intro and bit. Wow, then there's so many games you can enjoy, Axe, because that's so many things. Didn't I started Final Fantasy VII, I think it was a solid hour. Interesting.
Ultraman was a JAV.
Gigant. I'm assuming it's about giant women.
I'm sold.
I mean, it's the Gantz guy. What do you expect?
I liked what was it? Inuyashiki? The one where the old man got turned into a fucking military grade super robot. I enjoyed that. But I gotta look this up now and actually see the full story about it.
We'll look into that. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on. Like I said, honestly, the game is a little, and maybe it's because the writers didn't necessarily know what they were doing, or they didn't know what themes they wanted to focus on. And if you're thinking there's similarities between Girls Frontline and Arknights, again, we've talked about that there is similarities because some of the guys in Arknights' production company left Girls Frontline, left Mike and team to go make Arknights and focus on what the story beats they wanted. So I don't know which beats those were necessarily, because they're all Chinese and, all the stuff is on, like, Chinese social media and business posts and whatever.
You would like to not read the story not before a stressful strategy segment?
You might want to work on your grammar there, Axe. That's a little unclear. But I guess I kind of, but that's one of those things we say that's a you problem, because you talk about how much strategy stresses you and it triggers your anxiety or whatever. Me, I love strategy. I'm like, whatever. Honestly, I've skipped big chunks of the story in Girls Frontline at points just because I'm like, I don't know when that time will be, but I've said I really need to take a sit-down moment and, like, go back in archives and read everybody's stuff. Because there's a lot of interesting writing there. I'm just not usually in a position to read it.
As I said, like, the story stresses me out, and then I go into a stressful combat. I'm all like, ah! Like, I enjoy it. Like, chapter 1 is... Because here's the thing, basically every chapter is almost basically you can understand from a different character's perspective of the events. The first chapter is all entirely Satmots, who has literally been blown to bits and has fused sanguinifera pieces to her body and is trying to get back.
Which explains why she got a neuromod in this setup.
Yeah. And, like, she's trying to save Ro, and then she meets up with, like, some survivors, and despite not having a command module, has to lead them to victory. Like, for, like, Satmot's character, this was fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. And
I've always liked Satmot, but yeah, I like I said, I'm very, very not, like, super attached to the story right now, but the bits I've seen have been pretty good and understood. This is also where we finally get the Ro Dinnergate memes, because that's what she does with Ro's AI cores, stick it in a Dinnergate.
Is literally software. Satmot can't actually say to people, like, as I said, there's like a rate. Played mostly from the perspective of HK416 from Squad 404, and she's going through. She basically gets temporarily.
All right, Lucky, you may want to hold out on your talking. You are roboting and glitching for me pretty hard, and you may have just ghosted. You broke up there. Okay, I think he's gone away for a second. Hold on, audience. Well, yeah, I know you ghosted. I paused, but I also you came back now, but I had to step out for a second because it was a little stuffy in here.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I don't think I dialed my fan up a couple notches. I don't think it's coming across on my microphone, which is good. So you did a little ghosty robot-y zone back there, so you cut out a little bit. But you were talking about how Chapter 1 is from, Satmod's point of view, and then you were started about 2, but then you just completely vanished.
Yeah, so Chapter 2 is basically from HK416's, who temporarily leaves Squad 404 to organize the Griffin Resistance as they try to withdraw from the absolute foobar zone that they're in. And, you go through some emotional things with her as well, because 416 she's someone who basically doesn't exist. Like, a crazy thing, because of how their programming works, Squad 404, they will erase themselves from T-Doll's memories. And so basically every time they meet, like, someone meets them and they feel they don't know them, even though 416 retains all their memories of it. And because it's always been them four together, they've kind of got this, like, team going thing, but 416, like, is always wondering, is this her place of where she needs to be? Like, is she just I have to do that. Ax, I'm wondering where you get your information from. As you talk about you don't have time for story and don't like reading story, yet you always seem to have some story bits to share.
Oh, Ax is one of those people, as far as I can tell, that he just reads everything on Wikipedia because he can't do it himself. Because he wants to know, but sometimes occasionally Ax is wrong, and then we're like, wait a second, Ax, aren't you completely full of shit?
But,
I'll say this. I never claim to have an authoritative knowledge of...
Oh, I gotta save that one.
That is a pretty good one. I never claim to have authoritative knowledge of Girls Frontline, other than talking about weapons, because I'm not paying super close attention to the story at points. I have been behind in the story before. Mm. I definitely don't know what I'm doing in gameplay, but my BGM is rank 2 now. I got a star upgrade from getting all them intelligence gachas. And so that's pretty cool. Shoot big rockets at people.
Okay, but so basically she's like talking to all these inefficient and Hermione T-Dolls who are like treat each other normally like family and friends and whatnot. And she's just like talking about like what it is to be a weapon and how like they are not actually people. They like their emotions. I can't remember what it says. They actually say, what she says. It's just like, our thinking is just computer, simulations running through our networks. When our software comes into conflict with each other, that's what we call emotions. And I'm just all like, oh god, why are we having fucking, gynoid
we're having some real do androids dream of electric sheep shit here.
Yeah, and I was actually trying to say do Gynoids dream of Commander or something, but I couldn't get it to come out. But
I feel like that's a title of something. Do android and or Gynoid girls dream of Shikikan?
Yeah, I have to say Gynoid because technically android is the masculine version.
Yes, that's how the etymology works. But
yeah,
also most people don't care. So.
Yeah, it's like when I was talking about polyamorous the other day on stream, and it's like, that's not how you say it. I'm like, I know it's not how you say it, but I'm used to saying it. I can't remember what the proper actually way, because polyamorous mixes the Greek and Latin term.
Well, yeah, we have a couple of words like that, like television mixes Greek and Latin roots, as does automobile. We in English have kludged a few words together. Kludge is a great word, by the way. You should use it. It is everybody. It's so useful.
Oh, by the way, another word you should use more often: behold. Like, instead of saying "look here" or "see this," just go "behold." It's great.
Nice.
It just ratchets it up, like whatever you're saying, by like a few clicks.
But so, speaking of Girls Frontline and Sanguisferous, so I have seen the leaks and the data mines of the China, and it looks like we're getting another new feature.
What is it?
After Hawks, where you can now capture Sanguisferous dolls. and
Like
field them in certain... Like, you beat them up, shove them in a bag, and take them back to your base to be brain scrubbed. I think it's effectively what we're going for. Like,
wait, this is boss characters or
so
common?
Based on the spread that I saw, it's mostly commons. There is one boss character. It looks like they're starting with Scarecrow can be done, but it's mostly generics. But presumably they will add bosses in future.
Well, that's like one of the things I always wanted.
There's like you build like a giant computer core or something and like spray them down with foam to like cool them off and throw them in your magic computer thing. I don't. Okay,
so we're fucking literally portable opsing this shit.
Yeah, no, we're big bossing them real hard.
So actually, another interesting bit that's come out of the story.
I think you can. I don't know exactly how you field them, but you can only field them in certain situations, kind of like Hawks.
Fun fact: the Hawk units are actually based on Sangaveris technology.
Interesting.
Because basically, what happened?
Sanguis Ferris. Leader models, ringleaders, do have heavier weapons.
Well, no, because they're based off of Architect. Because remember, in story, we capture Architect. One of the
I may or may not remember this. I don't know. Remember, it's me you're talking to.
Yeah, I know, but I think it's one of the event stories. Oh, well,
if it was at the end of an event, that was probably too far for me.
Yeah, but at one point, Architect surrenders, and you capture her, and basically, she starts helping. Quote unquote. I don't know if you can really trust her, but the ad hoc basically runs 3 AI cores into running the fucking heavy ordnance. I forgot what the C stands for. Core.
Yeah, core.
So yeah, and the reason why, because technically, PMCs aren't allowed in this story to have heavy weapons like they've been building. They're only supposed to be using.
So they had a story justification, because we talked about this a lot in the early days, like, why don't we have, like, grenade launchers and RPGs and shit?
Yeah, no, apparently, because Griffin is a private military company and not an actual military outfit, they are not allowed to have high explosive ordnance. But, 404, well, no, it's not, is it 404 Labs? What's the fucking lab company?
Fuck, I knew this.
No, 16 Labs,
yeah, 16 Labs. They design all your cool shit.
Yeah, 16 Labs, with the help of Architect, designed these things, and they were given to you not because of because all throughout this chapter they're talking about using the things you shouldn't have these. This is highly fucking illegal. But like I said, once you get into chapter 3, you start figuring out why you get the heavy ordnance core, and it's like I said, like I'm real glad like I don't have story to do in other games right now because I am fucking inhaling this.
Sadly, I do have stuff I'm working on.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've got my own thing. I'm going to figure it out and like go back and actually read the story all through and catch up on the story chapters when I've got some time. Right now, I went super hard on doing the event, the first chapter of the event and stuff, for purposes of getting M82.
Oh yeah.
And so on. So like I'm kind of in a point where I'm like, and I went pretty hard on Azure Lane. Now they're doing a rerun of the Ryu something. Which one of the Ryus?
Ryunosuke, I think it was.
Yeah, somebody will yell at me for not remembering which boat is which, but I don't remember because I think we got it already. I basically I went pretty hard when I moved those to my PC. I went pretty hard on doing those events, and now we're kind of in a down slope of them because I got CZ's costume. I mentioned this. I did all the box stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty easy. Bless everybody on my Girls Frontline friends list. None of you have kicked me off, despite the fact that there was a period where I didn't log in for like a month. So getting likes and giving likes was pretty easy.
I've only gotten 30 likes, and I don't know why.
I don't know. I'm not at 50 yet, which is a little unusual. I'm pretty sure I have more than 50 friends and they actually play, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Giving out likes is easier though. Just do a whole bunch in a day. But yeah, so I'm kind of on a downslope with those games because, well, Arknights isn't really doing anything right now. It's just a personal competition of me to keep pushing the envelope on story and stuff. Not that I don't mind, just it's pretty. We've talked about this. The game wants you to play daily. It's pretty easy to get your daily reps in and make sure you get your daily and weekly or random and stuff. But after not having anything to do, FGO is doing an event right now, Saber Wars rerun, and I'm like, well, at the very least, I should work until I can get those EXPs and shit out of this store.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I don't need my...
I'd like the quartz out of the points ladder just because quartz is nice, but there's no tickets or anything. There's some QP in there, I guess. There's some prisms and stuff, but I've got fully kitted. I've done all the stuff. We did this event when it came out 2 years ago, and it was rough. So I've already got all the Saber Lily stuff. I've got all the CEs. I don't really need any of this stuff, you know? But I like FGO, so I'm like, I haven't really played the game in a while, so I'll work on it. And hopefully after it ends, but hopefully Girls Frontline won't jump into anything serious for anything right away after, what is this current event actually called? Continuum Turbulence?
Yes.
Yeah, Turbulence. After that ends, hopefully they won't do anything right away, and I can actually go back to what I was doing before my phone exploded, and I was actually working on catching up on story, because, as we said, thanks to Forward Operations, I've got fuck tons of combat reports. Like, you thought you had a shitload of combat reports when you got your first level 100 T-dolls and you did EXP dailies. You don't know how many fucking combat reports you can get out of the black market. So,
oh god, I just wish I could...
more and more really good units now. Like, I'm actually going to be able to build the core team of the girls now, because I'm actually going to have them all at level 100 start neurobotting them. Oh.
Yeah, no, that's my number one echelon right now.
And M4, I already worked really hard on her. I got her to like mod 2 or whatever, where she gets her second skill. That's pretty brutal. The Seal of the Avenger thing is no fucking joke.
Oh, that reminds me, I need to do something with because apparently Sop Mod's second skill, Hysterical Circus, it basically makes her anti-personal grenade make mini grenades, but if they hit randomly. They won't hit randomly if a unit has fucking Seal of the Avenger on it, though.
Oh, they're locked on.
Yeah. So actually, I should probably work on that too. But as I said, I'm out of combat reports right now. Because as I said, getting SOP mod to 115 was painful.
Yeah. That's the thing. You get a lot, but then you immediately, like, I had like 600 after buying a shitload from the store, and I immediately spent them all. But still, it's nice. And I don't know what Azure Lane's doing next, but I got my full Soviet set, so.
Oh yeah. I had to cheat. I had to buy the $4.99 gem pack, but I got my Soviet Russia.
Nice.
So now
they've just given you, they'll massage that a little. They've just given you, I think, like 200 total gems for apologies because they had some kind of hotfix issue and they had to roll people back, basically, because they started on the points ladder. So there's a couple hundred gems for everybody in the setup. So that's cool because that means my next dock expansion is free. Thanks, Azure Lane, for fucking it up. If only you did that more often, I guess.
God, like, here's the thing. I really, really like Russia's, the Northern Parliament's design aesthetic, and I just want to, like...
Yes, they are white hat Iron Blood, which is the weirdest look, but, like, they are, instead of dressing in Iron Bloods like dark reds and blacks, they are all in, like, a lot of whites and a lot of winter colors, cool colors. And literally their rigging designs are iced up.
Yeah, but so I'm probably gonna just stealthily just add them to my units I'm gonna use. Because technically during World War
Honestly, I think I'm gonna Oh, you're talking about how you only use Axis units mostly.
Yeah. But like honestly, like I think I'm just gonna kind of maybe just shuffle out my pizza fleet and just move in Northern Parliament to sit beside Vichia, Sakura, and...
Well, here's the thing. I don't have a full French team of either side, so I'm pretty sure those guys are gonna get... I'm sorry, Jean Bart, you're super cool, but I don't have anybody to go with you. You're literally the only backliner. Because I never got Dunkirk, so... I don't even know. I think Dunkirk was a backliner? I don't remember.
I believe so, yes.
So I don't have a full Vichia or Iris Libra, so they're probably gonna get rotated out, and Soviets are going in.
Let's be real. Soviets were never really the good guy.
They were just... Hitler just conveniently decided to backstab them in the middle of the war, and so they started on our side.
Yeah.
Which is the reverse of what happened with the Italians. They should have been an ally, but then they were like, hey, this National Socialism thing is pretty good.
Hey.
We're doing something like that. We'll make the trains run on time.
Choo choo, motherfucker. Let's see here. So, Girls Frontline is good right now. Right now, I'm running Annihilation because I'm like, I should get my fucking Iridium. And Azure Lane, I'm probably gonna be putting time into that later because I do want, like, I didn't get her because this is a rerun of the event, actually, and I wasn't able to get her last time. So I want to make the honest effort to get her this time.
That's fair. That's what reruns are for.
Yeah, and with Saber Wars, like as I said, I want to like get on the points ladder, if only so I can get the QP in there because I am dying.
Right, you want to put your reps in, but you're not focused on it. It's not a must complete. You don't need to get all 2 million points and get the crystallized lore and shit. No,
I just need some QP, maybe some extra quartz, and if I can get the fucking XPs out of the shop, I'll be happy.
Which hopefully you can, because all of the currency nodes, I believe, are actually unlocked. Oh, no, this brings me to a point I wanted to bring up earlier, but I forgot, and now we're an hour in. But I should, I guess, technically apologize. So Omega goofed some stuff up in the video schedule. And I was up late doing other stuff, and I forgot to properly post the Let's Talk FGO video early to patrons and stuff. So, if you were wondering why, well, when you watch Let's Talk FGO, which will come out before this, obviously, but if you do watch that and you hear me talk about how we recorded an AP in the middle of the week, and I don't know when that's coming out, even though that AP is already out, that's why. It's basically like, that was already shot and uploaded ahead of time, and I basically just goofled it all around. And so I was like, okay, well, shit, I guess we'll make that public to clear it out of the backlog, and we'll schedule Let's Take FGO, and I'll premiere it tonight. Night, but I just didn't. I uploaded it and everything, but I just didn't distribute it properly, and I'm just like, whoops, my bad. I've been distracted lately with lots of stuff. Like finding the first volume of the Babylonia soundtrack, because it's pretty sweet.
Oh god, is it out?
The first half is.
Ooh.
Yeah, Volume 1 is out. That doesn't have some of the later stuff, but that's got like the Babylonia anime's version of Grand Order. It's got Ishtar and Gil's leitmotifs. The Master and Mash's leitmotifs and stuff. Got some variants of some other Gil themes from other stuff, which are pretty good. Before anybody asks, don't talk about the new episode. I haven't seen it yet.
I have, but I won't talk about it.
I might wait, or I might not wait. I don't know. What I did watch, if we're gonna switch to anime up, well, we should also briefly mention, we totally got scooped last night in the middle of the night.
Yeah, we did.
In the episode, you'll hear me talk about how I heard they've data mined that there's going to be a King Hassan interlude and maybe a banner. That totally happened overnight. Whoops. At least we mentioned that it was supposedly on the horizon. So it's not like we really got scooped, just the confirmation was like, oh, wow, that was fast.
Well, we can't explain like what the rank up is about and all that stuff.
We didn't explain it then, just because it was data mined, but I didn't want to dig it up because it wasn't officially added. But yeah, so that's cool. They gave him a buff, they gave him a banner.
Excuse me, where is my summonable Siduri and Tiamat though? That's all
I don't know. The anime's about over. I think we've missed that point. That would have been a really good banner. 5-star Tiamat, alter ego, and 4-star caster Siduri would have worked out perfectly.
I cry.
Delight works. You've lost your money from me. Well, especially considering I don't. They might bring that banner to EN early, which is going to be weird and rough. Not that it matters to me because I have everybody on that banner. Because I think it's King Hassan, it's Gorgon and Anna. And I think I got. When did I get Gramps? Was that on?
You got him on the King Hassan banner, I think.
No, I got him on. I got him on a guaranteed.
Yeah. That's what it was.
I think it was last anniversary guaranteed because it wasn't the individual classes, or was it? Was it individual? I don't remember. I got him on a guaranteed summon, which was neat. I wasn't mad. It was cool. But yeah, so I've got him. He's one of my big slugger assassins. For when Jack is not optimal because she's super focused on anti-female. So that's cool. But yeah, I haven't watched the new episode yet because, well, also I've been really scattered around, but I just was like, do I need to? Do I wanna? It's fine. But what I did watch was I made sure to stay current with My Hero Academia because we talked about that last week where I was like, I'm behind, we can't talk about it. And you wanted to talk about it, so now I'm caught up. I was a little farther behind than I did, but that's the only thing off my media. I've got a little list of things I need to catch up on. Including the new season of Altered Carbon, Lock and Key, and I need to watch Castlevania, though that'll probably be last because that's 3 seasons.
Yeah, it is.
Now. But I've decided I need to actually sit down and watch it. But I worked through my MHA backlog. And honestly, this sub-arc is almost over, I think.
Yeah, I think there's one more episode.
Yeah,
Did you watch today's episode?
Yes, I watched this week's episode. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
We're just going to get the actual school festival performance next time, which should be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because this arc is a really good tension break. I love that the stakes are so high yet so low.
Well, this is what I think I like about it is this is more a battle between dreams rather than anything of concrete value.
Yeah, it's not a practical fight. It is very much an emotional stakes. Like, compare this episode was arguably the big climax fight. This one and the previous one. So compare the scale of that struggle to the end of the Yakuza hideout arc, which was, I mean, that was great. I loved that. That was super cool. But that was like literally high flying, super high tier bullshit. Whereas this was just two men with souls fighting. And even if apparently La Brava made Gentle at least as strong as Deku at 8% ish, you know, somewhere in there. I'm pretty sure he wasn't going full 20% because there would have been some commentary on that. I think it was just normal. It was just normal full cow, and he did 20% for Air Force, which is a pretty bitchin' name. But that's still pretty strong, you know. And I don't think the animation was quite as crazy BS as some fights in My Hero have been, but they did a pretty good detail job. Like there's that shot where Deku catches Gentle's fist when they kind of clash. Like that's like animated really well and smooth. It's just, like I said, it's very interesting.
Honestly, like,
oh boy, Lucky's breaking up for me again.
They put themselves as villains, and I guess they're kind of villainous, but they're kind of, what's the word I want to use? Ineffective villains?
Well, they're what we call these days usually anti-villains, like the opposite of an anti-hero. Gentle is a self-admitted criminal because he failed to be a hero, and he literally, they showed his backstory in today's episode, he literally, like, picks up a book that is like, that's it, I'll change the world through crime.
Well, because he couldn't cut as a hero, and his attempts to actually save persons actually got him in trouble. Because, remember in My Hero Academia, if you use your quirk without a license, that is illegal.
And also pretty sure he seriously injured somebody.
Yeah, he basically interfered with hero business.
Which, and that is, by the way, a totally Japanese-ass thing where he was, like, super ostracized and everybody hated him, because that's kind of what Japan does with social outcasts, basically. Like, it's real harsh. And I think that My Hero actually shows that in kind of, like, it shows that in kind of like a brutal light, right? Like, especially to the Western audience. But I think even in Japan, some of the fans will be like, oh, that kind of hurts. He was just trying to be a good boy. He was trying his best. And now he's a villain. Gentle criminal.
Well, you say people like viewers will watch that, but if you think of that like in setting.
Oh no, in setting it's like, well, it's I suppose a plus and minus. Like, if you think about it, like Stain probably would have been like, that guy's a hero. He's trying to do stuff. Like, he's trying to achieve his goals. Whereas, because that is a point that the hero business is a little fucked up. That was a whole plot part after the hero killer Stain arc, where like, Police Chief Dog was like, hey, so according to the law, if you guys were reported interfering with business, on the one hand, the public would probably think you're super cool heroes and would totally support you. But we'd have to reprimand you in some case, and that would be really bad because we have to enforce the quirk law.
Yeah, it's the same with the what was it, Camino, when they busted in the fucking fight between All Might and the other dude to save Bakugo, and they're like, "You shouldn't have done that."
Yeah,
leave it to the adults. And as I think I said this before, my first response was, if they had left it to the adults, Bakugo would either be dead or captured. So fuck you guys.
Correct. Well, yeah, and again, that might be a very Japanese thing, that there's a lot of, you should stick to social order and social constraints even if it kills you.
Yeah.
That's a very cultural thing for them. Which, like I said, MHA is very culturally aware, and I don't think it's necessarily like a deep criticism, like, fucking Psycho-Pass. That's a deep cut in the way Japan is about stuff. Like, how they handle mental health and social pressures and things. Like, that's That's got some deep words from the cyberpunk future in there. I think MHA is a lot more hopeful overall, but it occasionally takes points to be like, hey, maybe this isn't right all the time. Maybe.
Nah.
But yeah, I really like Gentle's great because he's like we said, he's an anti-villain. He's not trying to hurt anybody. He usually runs from serious fights. He detests violence, but he has a dream. He wants to be famous, and he wants to change the way people perceive things. And he's got a pretty bitchin' quirk. Let's be real. He's got some pretty good style, but yeah, it's like you said, it's a clash of dreams. You know, his dream versus Deku's dream, and Deku's going real hard. Well, no, he's not really a vigilante for a Western comic because he doesn't do good.
No,
the thing. You mentioned the Vigilante side series. The Vigilante, not that I've read it, and hopefully they'll do an adaptation someday, or I'll just pick up a manga or whatever. But the Vigilante's My Hero Story, that's like being Batman, basically.
Yeah.
Gentle is more like a Catwoman type character. Like, technically you're doing crime, but you're not really hurting people, and, you know, you could even see maybe someday Gentle actually, like, helping people occasionally while he's out doing his business.
Oh, Cute Robots did Elfelt. Interesting.
By the way, I love his intro in the convenience store, where he's just casually holding the knife, like, excuse me, sir, please put the money in the box. And then 2 heroes show up, and he's like, no problem. And then, like, 2 or 3 more show up, and he's like, possibly a problem. The problem part. And then they're all on the ground. Oh, he's so fucking extra. I love him. He fucking dabs. And it's so weird, because he's like, I appreciate that they show in the flashbacks that he's always had silver hair, right? That's just part of his quirk makeup.
But no, he's like in his mid.
Yeah.
I understand.
What? Oh.
It is a partner. I don't like.
Discord's freaking out for a second. Hold on. You cut out there, but also I didn't light up. So.
What's up?
Sorry. I think Discord is functioning normal, maybe? We had a little wiggle out. Discord's probably being weird because in response to all this social distancing and pandemic stuff, they've, like, opened up Go Live to more people and stuff and done other things. So, I mean, I'm sure it's on my end, but that's still an end that exists, buddy. Don't you go throwing shade. You're going to listen to the audio version later and you're going to be mad. No, it's probably just connections are weird and busy. So it might be because we're currently still based in the West Coast. I don't know. I don't feel it's a big deal to move around. But anyway, sorry. We had some weird breakup back and forth there. But you were saying that he's like in his middle age, maybe. Like
no, he's like
even
like
younger.
he's I think he's in his 20s because
he was in his
only
20s when he started. I don't know. He might be 30ish now.
Nah, because
I suppose that's a thing. That's a timeline. I don't actually know.
Because I said, I think he only did a couple videos before La Brava showed up.
That's fair. And he's been doing this not that long.
Yeah.
And Access, the question is La Brava his partner or is
I'm going to say partner. Because...
Yes. I think... Well, Gentle is the gentle criminal. He's a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he would ever take advantage of...
I think she's in high school age.
I think this was more clear in the manga. I think because she's a NEET at home. I think she's like in her early 20s or maybe like late teens, but post school.
Yeah, because like the first shot you see of her is she says she's like first year middle school, and if you notice, her hair is super fucking short.
Yes,
and then you switch back, and her hair is super fucking long.
Yes,
so
but she's developed dark circles. But we see her living at home in the dark, sitting on her computer.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, contemplating suicide, basically. She literally says, maybe I should just give up on my life. So obviously she's become, a hiki. A hiki meat. But then she sees Gentle and is like, damn, this guy's cool. I immediately love him, which is her superpower. But I think they have like a mutual respect thing going on in their relationship. She obviously feels great affection for Gentle because that's how her quirk works. But
Gentle doesn't reject it.
Yes, but also I don't think that they are like if you're gonna to make it crass, like are they like banging between web videos? I don't think so. Like they have a respectful, gentlemanly relationship. But I like that they do have this kind of we're seeing a positive villain relationship after we've had a lot of negative ones. Because. Chisaki Overhaul was a complete sociopath. He literally killed 2 of his own dudes to fuse with him, even if that got undone later, he was completely willing to turn his own guys into more material for himself, right? That is his character 100%.
To break down and rebuild his boss's granddaughter.
Right. Heck, he broke, quote-unquote, his boss and put him in a coma so that he could perfect his plan because the boss didn't understand. Even though his boss totally understand because he said, people won't follow a demon with no heart. I may also have, in the middle of rewatching those episodes, gone back and watched Lemillion and the 100% Power episodes. Because they're really fucking good. Like, honestly, I know some people who are more in the animation business and stuff are like, oh, the animating and stuff in those episodes was kind of crappy. I'm like, didn't notice. I think I've got like a, I want to call it like the mediocrity filter. Like, if things are just okay, or even a little bit bad, I don't notice at all. And it just doesn't stick with me. Like, the parts that I like stick with my brain much more. Something has to actually be really, really bad for me to go, oh, hey, that was bad. So I just skim over a lot of that stuff, I think.
Mm. You have to take the product in as a whole.
Yeah, and the just fucking goddamn Togeda, that kid, the best. Makes me tear up every time they do the whole like flashback. I'll do my best as he's just been shot with the bullet. I'm just like, oh, it's so sad, but he's so cool. But like. Talking about positive villain relationships, like Gentle and La Brava have a positive partnership going on, even though she is kind of a stalker. It's a little bit of a danger zone. Though, I don't know, that dumb kid in middle school, if he had realized that he would get superpowers from that, maybe he wouldn't have been such an asshole. But also, kids are jerks, so. Just look at Bakugo.
Yeah, La Brava, I kind of feel, her love is just very heavy.
And it's probably because of her quirk, is she has a very... very intense nature when it comes to love, so she's real deep. But I like that. Like Gentle is like, dude, I have a dream that's not mine anymore. Which perfectly encapsulates. And honestly, that's something a lot of villains can't say. Like a lot of villains are working towards just their plan.
Yeah.
Like even though All for One, that's right. It's the right one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's confusing. I have this problem all the time. Because it's supposed to be a singular phrase, so my brain gets them confused. But even though he's supporting Tomura, does Tomura have a cool villain nickname?
I don't think so. I think he's just known as...
Maybe he'll get one later when he... because I know he's got some development coming. Maybe he'll figure out one later when he gets cool. But even though All for One is supporting him and like trying to shape him, he's still fundamentally trying to accomplish his own goals. Same with Overhaul and a lot of other villains we run into. Like, they are selfishly pursuing their own ideals, but Gentle has at least one person, and hey, he's got some views on his videos. He's got an audience. He's got people who believe in him.
I'm sorry, I laugh at I remember seeing the comments, one was just like, show more La Brava. I'm all like, you fucker.
That was so true. They understand internet culture very well over there. To kind of like, and that's totally what people would say, because La Brava is shooting, she's doing the camera work. You can hear her, obviously, but because she's the POV, you don't see her a lot. Like, maybe she'll, like, lean the camera into her face if she's speaking or something, but probably not. So it's hilarious. But yeah. So I've heard, actually, that in Japan, they have very mixed feelings about, like, internet content creators, because, arguably, we've talked about this with, like, if you break the social order, that's really bad. Going out into public and, like, filming videos where you do stuff, or do meme things in public and, like, posting pictures can get you in a lot of trouble in Japan. Like, you could be fired for doing, like, dumb poses and stuff because you're out in public and you're reflecting on other people. So, like, it's kind of interesting that our first YouTube character in My Hero is basically a villain, but he's not a bad guy. It's interesting to see, I think.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I keep hoping he appears back in the story.
Oh, I'm sure he will, because here's the thing about My Hero. It's an ensemble cast. There's loads of characters. Everybody rotates. There's been a lot of fucking Jiro in this arc, which I love, because she is a great aesthetic. Also, great singing voice.
Oh, God.
I'm going to assume that was her voice actress actually singing, because that's the thing. I think it's just in general, but especially in Japan, a lot of women in voiceover work are also singers or skills. You know, they have talent because they either have done idol or other music career work directly, or just they picked it up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, yeah, that is a point you brought up, X. Like the commentary about Yakuza, that's a big thing because normally, even though they're not as powerful as they have been, that's still not something you just casually bring up if you're Japanese, because they still exist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're still out there doing stuff. So it's interesting. So no, I don't think anything is actually connected to their past to the Chinese. That's just China being overly sensitive.
Actually, that actually made me think about something. Talking about Chinese and Japanese relationship. Remember when I was talking about the fucking evil fucking secret lab? That's Japanese.
Yeah, maybe you broke up there for a second. With that last bit garbled. Oh, is it because he died? Lucky, you okay? You all right, buddy? Oh, that's not good. He died. I will depause. You were saying about something lab?
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was like Lab 731 or Unit 731. Basically, the Japanese World War II secret biological and chemical warfare lab where they tested a bunch of weird shit on the Chinese. I was actually wondering if Japan hasn't actually publicly admitted that to those crimes, because if they did, China would literally try to rake them over the fucking coals and get everything they could out of that.
Yeah, probably. I do know that's another reason why I personally err on the side of caution that the author of My Hero is probably not trying deliberately to bring up anything sus. Because the Japanese have a terrible education about that stuff in their own country.
Yeah. So, like, I was thinking about...
And, I gotta be honest, I think you've got a point there that, like, nobody wants to give China any more leverage.
Yeah.
Because they're very aggressive right now, economically and politically and socially, so it's not like you just want to hand them something.
Yeah, because if they basically admit it, that means Japan then has to pay reparations for...
Or at least China will be like, hey, dog, you admitted it, so you owe us something back for that, right?
Yeah.
And then Japan would be like, do you guys owe us anything for those times you tried to invade? Didn't the Mongols take control of your country and invade us at some point? No? That's why cycle of revenge in all forms sucks, because it just keeps going.
Yeah.
Like, we can play that blame game going back to the dawn of time. What was that? What's that quote from? I think it's from Meet the Sniper, or it's something else, but it's like, ever since there were 3 people, 2 of them have wanted the other one dead.
I believe it.
I think that's a quote from Meet the Sniper or something. It's one of those pithy one-liners about stuff.
I do believe it, though.
Yeah, I mean, it seems fair. Like, that's the thing, right? The moment you've got enough people to hatch a conspiracy, somebody hatches a conspiracy.
Well, that's just how the social construct works. People of like minds gather together, and whoever has more people than the other side, kind of tries to enforce their will upon them.
I'll feed her a couple EXPs, because I only have low-level ones left. Let's see how far we can get.
But yeah, so that's My Hero Academia.
The school arc is pretty good. I do like that, to briefly talk about the actual fighting stuff. Even if it's not super flashy, like in animation-wise, I do like a lot of the stuff they've done with our resident mad lad Deku.
I do like how his gloves actually open up. I don't know if that detail was ever really explained in the manga.
It probably was, but the thing is, the manga still, so it was probably like, especially because I think Horikoshi has a very good attention to detail with like character designs and stuff. It probably would, but you don't see it in motion, so it's kind of an out of sight, out of mind thing, you know, right?
Yeah, but you just see an anime, just seeing going, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah. By the way, I love this fucking look. Other people said it. I love this look for Deku, where he's like casual in the hoodie, but he's got his fucking hero gloves on. It's a pretty cool look.
Yeah, well,
but he takes to air bullets really well and gets some pretty primo shots off. The fucking one-handing the steel beam, like a boss. Sorry, I leaned over because I dropped something. Or in this episode, when he pushes Gentle to the ground and Gentle's like throwing up barriers and stuff, and he finds them in the air, even though they're invisible, and like jumps around them and pulls off that fucking behind the back shot. Damn, like this arc, because they're of relatively equal strengths, I think at points really shows off how much Deku has learned, because it's not just him. Like he's not completely blown the fuck out or completely blows the fuck out, right? Like, this is an actual, honest competition.
Well, a lot of people kind of forget that Deku's like first strength is analysis and observation.
Which, like, even though it was brief, his time with Night Eye did not do anything to drop it, I guess. Like, it's that helped him. Like, he's literally dropping the Night Eye, get close and predict their next move line.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, they actually called back to that a little bit where Jiro was asking how Deku does his notes, because he literally has notes upon notebooks of just observations about heroes.
Right, because she was like, I want to format my thoughts because I have advice for the band, but I'm not sure how to do it. And he's just like, oh, okay, well, I can show you. It's super complex.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we'll flash back to earlier because I only just watched it, but fucking Ectoplasm are trying to teach them, like, trigger calculus or something. These fucking first-year high school kids who also have hero duties. What the fuck? Even the kids are like, dude. Even Momo doesn't know. But yeah, they do a lot of really good things with, like, the strats and stuff, and it really helps. And I like that Night Eye is part of Deku's growing backlog of people who have pushed him to this point when they show the flashback sequence. Because it's like, my dream was too big for my body, but I've got to do it for all the people who believed in me and supported me and acknowledged me. And for those people who have yet to be hurt. And I think it's got a positive point because, or at least some people have positive theories about Deku's kind of character arc. I say this as I feel like people are flickering in and out of existence. But where, like, we know that in a sense this story is how Izuku Midoriya becomes the greatest hero in some fashion, because that's the conceit, right? That's the, what do they usually call it? The epigraph text is like, and this is the story. This is my story of how I became the strongest. So we can assume that will be true someday, eventually. But one thing I like is that, like, Deku really is like he's aiming to maybe become a universal hero, like, not just for normal people doing normal things in life, but also for people who are in, like, bad and weird situations, and maybe society doesn't necessarily help them out, but he's still there for you, smiling and responding to them, because he's... Right, like, you're ghosting a lot, I know. Like, I think I've seen you flicker in and out of reality a couple of times. And my Discord lagging a little bit. Maybe I'll hold on, pause, and disconnect and reconnect real quick. Pause and say this on mic. It might be some of the breaking up for you might be on my end, because I do think Windows 10 has been going fucking crazy with auto updates lately.
Yeah, you gotta turn those off sometimes. There's a way to do it.
I feel like it's been doing it, like, every time I shut the computer off, and I'm like, aren't you guys done yet? So I don't know if it's got something going on.
They're always rolling out small updates. I think you can schedule them to only do it, like, on a certain day.
Yeah, I should probably make sure to set my schedule. I don't know if I've done that yet on this, new machine, new stuff. I'll figure that out at a later point. And like I said, maybe it's just Discord servers are a little stressed.
I don't know.
Let's close that tab. I don't need to go Frontline Wiki anymore. And it's a very spicy...
Nani?
Oh, Sakimi-chan even calls it spicy. I'll post that in Art Dump.
Well, guess where I'm going.
It's not ultra spice yet, but it's a little spicy.
I like a little spicy. Like I said, if you've been on Twitter, you've probably been seeing me retweet, like, a lot of stuff just as we've been going. That's what Lucky do.
Yes. And, honestly, there's an even 50-50 if there's an Adoleth art, whether it's you or now I follow Japanese artist Miko Yen, who does porn. Definitely does a lot of that. Lot of saucy dark elf pics. But also, I think just in their free time, they just like to draw a lot of Byleth Edelgard.
Listen,
a lot of casual
Byleth Edelgard is
like they're not even naughty most of the time. They're just adorable.
Oh, excuse me. This is Art Dump is making me retweet fucking cats. This Adelante and the Virgin Killing Sweater. But I'm
is that in there? That in there? Yeah. Sometimes Art Dump. I've said this before. Sometimes Art Dump is just I forget that it like I just wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, gonna mark that as read. Oh, hey, neat. Achievement Hunter's 12-hour stream is trending on Twitter. I haven't been tuning in much because I haven't found a good time, but I believe they're going to post an archive of it. That's still pretty cool of them to get this on the tweets, because
did I retweet this BBS?
They had to cancel a live event, and you may have retweeted that one, because I know I've retweeted that one, BB. That's actually a couple days old.
Okay.
Sometimes that happens with Art Dump stuff, is I see stuff show up after a couple of days, and I'm like, how did you just find out about this now? Like,
well, it says today at 1:40 p.m., so maybe it's just new.
Maybe it's new. I don't know. That artist does a lot of variations on that theme, though. So
yeah. Let's see here.
But yeah, anime. I don't know if you mentioned it in the Garble group, but I think it was Tyranno King asked you how the Madoka anime is treating you.
The manga anime is pretty good. It's not as crazy as like usual Shaft works is, but it's okay. Like honestly, like I'm keeping up on it, but it's not one of the things where I need to watch it. It's something that I usually catch up on. Like right now, my big things. Oh, I see what you mean. Spicy. Like the big ones I like to watch. Like almost immediate is Babylonia. My Hero Academia, Inspector. Inspector's interesting. Inspector's is one of those weird detective stories where you involve supernatural elements. And as I said, it's funny and intense at the same time without actually being, actually physically intense. So, Inspector, like I said, actually make sure I'm on Patreon chat so I can see people talking at me. So, Madoka Magica, I'm probably gonna watch either probably tomorrow or Monday, along with other things. But right now, the thing I'm about to start binging is Beastars, which
I was
finally
gonna bring that up because it's finally on Netflix.
It's finally on Netflix, and like I said, I've been reading the manga via Witchcraft for ages, and the one thing that has already gotten my fucking goat is on Netflix. On the subtitles says the deer's name is Ruis. So let me pound this. It's Rouis, and I'm just all like, it's fucking Lewis. How can it not be Lewis? Lewis just makes sense.
Yes, but sometimes no. Because remember we've talked about weird things with Japanese names before. Like they insist that Altria is the correct way to spell that because they've spelled that before. So who knows who said it was what? But
yeah, I guess that's fair. But at the same time, I'm just like,
oh no, that's if you were fucking manga scan later, that's totally Lewis.
Yeah. So I'm about to binge that, and like I said, I'm excited about it. It's actually a very highly popular manga over in Japan. Basic premise of it is, it follows the story of a gray wolf named Legosi, who gets caught up in a lot of conflicts between herbivores and carnivores in his city. So you can think of it's kind of like Zootopia, except predation is actually a much more real and scary thing. Like, the scene literally opens up with, I think he's an alpaca, named Tim, getting chased down by a carnivore, and you just, find out the next morning that he died. Oh, he did. And so now there's, a ton of tensions between herbivores and carnivores, and, Lugosi's, trying to figure out what happened.
Is it still going? So, you say Zootopia, but when I think of funny animal people with themes about predator and prey, I think of the webcomic Kevin and Kel, which is apparently still going on. Holy shit. That guy's been doing it since 1995. Wow. I might have to go back and check out some of that stuff. Because if you guys, real brief, I'll just say, because if you don't know, that comic is about a herbivore, a large bunny man, Kevin, and his wife, Kel, who is a wolf. And they're kind of step family and stuff. So, and they have a kid together who's a rabbit, but also the tiny baby rabbit is a carnivore too, which is weird. They do a lot of fun stuff, but check it out sometime. You have a million years apparently. Holy shit, daily webcomic since 1995. Anyway, continue about Beastars.
So Beastars, it's being done by Studio Orange, which other biggest claim to fame is they did the Land of the Lustrous anime. Which, I'm pretty sure you haven't seen it, but it has, some of the most beautiful
I have not
CG
actually watched the show, no, but I have seen clips of it, because you're right, the CG is some of the best in the biz. We've taken some pot shots at Babylonia, which has a very high budget for some of the awkward CG it's used in a couple of points. Mm-hmm. Land of the Lustrous' design is really, really good for 3D CG. So, it's all in 3D CG, and you can see where they put in the extra effort, and when sometimes they let it stutter a little bit. But I'm fine with that. A lot of people, I've seen in our communities who were talking about it, say they have to get over the animal people kind of look to everything, because it's all anthropomorphized animals. All of it. It is what the kids these days would call a furry manga. It is. Which is apparently... I'm like, did you guys not watch enough Disney movies when you were growing up or something? Apparently that's a gut check for some people. For me, it's just nah, dude, I'm used to funny animal people. Well, I think it's because
furry can be seen kind of in the...
Well, it's true. There's a little bit of fringification, but still, it to me, that's still just, like, the thing about weird furries, I'll say, is just, they took some interesting experiences out of their formative years, is what we'll say.
Yeah.
But that's just how shit is. You have a formative period in your life, and whatever gets thrown at you in that period sticks. So it's the same with anime and manga for me. It's just like, well, that's what I watched growing up, but also to me, just funny animal people is a childhood thing. Fucking cartoons and, Disney movies and all that shit.
Well, I'm gonna post this again. Whoop, shit. Not as wrong channel, but I'm still gonna send it to that dude because he'll find it funny too. Hey. I'm in that audience, by the way.
Oh, that tweet again, yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that one. Also, this wholesome moment.
I think I've retweeted that. Because it's pretty good. Cautiously. Church bad? RPG audience approving chuckle. RPG writers, dragons good? One guy yells, audience. And then the one writer grabs the mic. Church sucks because they will let you fuck dragons. Raucous, terrifying applause. I love the terrifying in there. It's so true, though.
It is true. I like Twitter because it lets you just bookmark things, and I'm just going through the things I have bookmarked right now.
Yeah,
I don't have a lot of them.
Oh, yeah, I have retweeted that.
Yeah. I hope y'all are ready. Oh, goddamn, I keep forgetting it. That's not the actual bookmark I need. Hang on. I need to actually bookmark this. Add tweets and bookmarks. There it is.
Hitting up Arknights. I think I need to switch to
here it is.
Generating XPs for a little bit.
Because you mentioned this is for furry art, and this is just what popped into my head also.
Yeah, it's got a video component I don't think I can watch right now because of audio, but
you should.
Just this is for furry art, isn't it? Though that does bring up an interesting point because we've been talking about animation and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That we live in really interesting times as far as animation goes because, or drawing at all, if you need references for anything, it's just a Google away. Like, like if you've watched Naruto as a kid, you may remember some of those super smooth Sakuga fight scenes in the original Naruto run before Shippuden. But a lot of those are traced from martial arts films because, of course, they are. Like, I'm thinking, like, that's not a bad thing. That's your reference. That's what all artists do, right? You build references. So, yeah, they rotoscoped an actual martial arts fight. That's how they got the choreography. Because that's what they had available. But these days, you could just look up YouTube tutorials or whatever, or watch videos or find source pictures of anything. You want to know what an explosion looks like? Somebody's probably blown something up, possibly in slow motion, on YouTube for your amusement. And, you want to see what stuff looks like crushed or cut or anything? Somebody's got a video for that. So that's just... References is a really interesting thing about tech science that we're in with stuff.
Well, I'm going to retweet this...
That does remind me. I think that was much earlier this week, but that was something I did do in my... Working on my Mages 2020 stuff is... Not so much the past couple of days, though I did write some fiction that kind of struck me suddenly. But I did, earlier in the week, add a couple of things, like the machine tree is actually in there. I don't think I'd done that yet by the last time we talked about it. And devices and my first run of apps is in, because software is a thing.
Meh. Okay. I was looking at some other things on Twitter.
Yeah.
But speaking
Miss Bear is wondering why Akashi constantly gets them things. It's because Akashi likes you, but also wants you to buy. Please buy.
If you have gems, Akashi has wares. I'm pretty sure someone has made that joke somewhere.
Oh, somebody has definitely made the... Hajit has coin if you have wares. What would that be? That would be, Akashi has goods if you have gems.
Yeah. But, speaking of, Mages 2020, though, you just wrote another piece of, short fiction. Yep.
Which is not... we say wrote in the past tense, but technically it's not over. I just haven't... I'm envisioning it kind of... because we've talked about this before, too. Like, how RPGs usually have, like, opening fiction or, fiction between chapters. That's kind of how Poison 7 is what it's called, came to me. Is just, like, I started thinking about, typical characters, especially how, Mages 2020 is shaping up as kind of, like, where the design space is. So... I was just like, well, I got some ideas for some interesting people. I just want to kind of write around these character concepts. So it starts as kind of maybe a tiny bit of it'll eventually turn into something like a a heist or a crime drama story or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah, no, you said Poison 7, and my first thought was like Ocean's 11 and whatnot.
Yeah, basically, it's like they're ultimately going to be called the Poison 7 because there's going to be 7 of them. So that's why I'm like, I don't want to necessarily say that it's done because we've only introduced 2 of 7 possible characters, and I'm sure I'll feel the need to write that sometime. My gears got shifted a little bit in the middle of the week because we gamed early. So we actually did my big Star Wars session, which was cool. Everybody seemed to have a positive response, which is neat. If you want to check that out, that's Ain't No Rest for the Wicked, episode 7, already up on the channel.
Like, honestly, reading Poison 7 actually got me to write. Well, it started my writing bug, but if today has been like any example to you guys, my computer was crashing a lot, and by the time I only got to like a page, I'm like, I'm so angry right now.
Yeah, you had a lot of yelling about that in patron chat about just like every time you tried to get started, it fucked you up, which is bad. Flow's a buzzword, but flow is actually very important to writing. Like, you need to find your rhythm. Mine kind of comes and goes in fits where I'm like literally I wrote the first section of Poison 7. I'm like, okay, I've completed an arc. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to go do something. No, I'm going to write for another hour.
Yeah, no, like I got through a page and I said, like, you're talking about how you like came up with some characters. Like, I keep thinking mages, like I can only think of Wolfgang. I don't have any other things I can really call my own. So I started Interview with the Immortalis. The first sentence is, in Wolfgang's humble opinion, the studio he was currently trapped in was too bright, too loud, and there was entirely too much going on. And as I'm trying to get back into my my writing group, because I haven't actually sat down and written something in a long time. So I'm hoping, like, I'm gonna try and share it with people when I actually get a good stopping point. But I have to, actually, it's right on the money. Immortalis is just one of the many nicknames he has been called over the time. Because actually, like, here's one of the things that Megan could probably attest to with writing. When you start writing, you start wondering about other concepts and things and whatnot, like in the story, in the setting. Because the method that Wolfgang would probably most be likely using to stay alive is literally just some internal alchemy, which probably isn't entirely way too hard. But then I have to start asking, if it's something that's not crazy hard, why don't more people do it? And so I'm starting playing around with these ideas, and it's just simple. The most simple one is people don't like seeing everyone they know, they love and know just die of old age.
Right. That's the classic "Who Wants to Live Forever" problem.
Mm-hmm. And I actually came up with a real easy reason why Wolfgang could get around it. He literally like spent his former years in a war-torn time. He's seen a lot of people die. People he knew.
Psychological hardening. So much fun.
Yeah. And the second reason is he found a purpose to keep going, which has been seen in our campaign as he encountered the resurgence of the enemy. So basically, like, I'm going with that idea, and I'm trying to write again. Like, unfortunately, I can tell you right now, I'm not as good as writing as Omega. I'm really not. And unfortunately, I'm one of those people, like, I don't know, how many editing passes do you do on your own work, Omega?
It depends on the work. I'm, honestly, like, some stuff I'm never not doing an editing pass, like, with Mages of Law, which pseudo became a 2020 fiction. It was really just, I wanted to write a modern mage story, and I decided it was going to be roughly what the 2020 timeline was like. Like, honestly, sometimes even when I'm not writing another section of that, I'll just go back and read it over, and occasionally it's like, oh shit, that's wrong. Something in writing classes, that if you can't get another person to edit for you, you should write what you want, and then sit on it for a while, and then come back to it and just look at it with fresh eyes. So
that's what I'm doing. I
usually look at something right away after I'm done writing, and then I usually need to take a couple of days and sit on it before I can take another pass and, like, see if I've got some wrong phrasing or something.
Yeah, no, see, like, I do that, like couple, every, like, couple sentences, I go back and reread, and then, like, I'm constantly rearranging and changing. Like, the opening of how, like, my writing started has changed twice before I settled on the one I have, and I do this constantly. So, it's very, and see, the problem with that is it disrupts my own flow, and so it's kind of, like I said, this is the problem with being able to focus so much.
Well, okay, so now that I stopped you with my comment, we'll just bring it up, because I was asking, like, hey, so in modern times, would it be super illegal to make soldiers immortal or invincible? And lots of other ramifications or whatever. I'm just like, you're thinking about it too hard. Just attack the concept. One, how would it be illegal? And two, how would you make them immortal or invincible? Because while it is mentioned in the section on ritual magic and internal alchemy, you can actually, reduce the effects of aging and stuff. That is a process which requires somebody to sit down for a couple hours and have a specialist work on them, right?
Mhm.
And it's not something you can really do yourself easily. You can probably pull it off, but you need to be really, really fucking good. So it's like, okay, how do you do that for soldiers? Are you gonna sit a bunch of people down, a lot of whom aren't mages and thus have no idea what the fuck is going on? Because we talked about this earlier with them, Aether deck casting and stuff. There are other people who can use spellcraft in the 2020 timeline, but it's still a kind of they use it in the sense that they run it on a computer. It's all computer programming supported. So, you literally can't understand what's going on because you can't feel it in the same way that the mage can. So, are you gonna sit there and suck it up? And some people might, and some people won't. And it's just a matter of scale. There is some industrialized aspects to magic, but some stuff is just how do you industrialize that? So, I ported over the healing tree. Actually, that's another thing which I should mention to 2020, and it got a couple new spells, which matter for stuff. I think I reworked how things worked a little. Let me reload that document again so I can actually look at the tree. But magic talent, actually, it's pretty easy to go to the bottom of the talents.
Well, Axe, that's someone seeking power. Because remember, all those mercenaries are merely dogmatic. They're just people doing what they consider the good work. It's literally just really one person who wants that power.
Right. That's just one guy is shelling out all the stuff to get the thing to work.
Yeah.
Okay, healing. So there's a new basic spell called Diagnoster. Because, hey, guess what? Modern medicine is complex, so mages are like, fuck, let's make a spell. So now you can diagnose people via magic. They have to be touchable still, or within short range, I think. Yeah, DOS and meters, but still, it lets you diagnose them, but not heal them, but just, you can tell what their general health level is and any injuries or other medical conditions they may be suffering, and you can tell if they're magical or supernatural, basically, in addition to normal. You can do all the normal healing, all the other stuff. They got a new mental healing effect. It's a very high-level spell, and it's still a little weak, because I want to kind of emphasize the fact that, generally, if you want to keep track of your mental health, you should be not doing things that hurt it. But yeah, you can basically help people kind of rebuild their psyche in a physical sense. And now they have another top level 500 XP spell, which is body shaping, which is literally you can, as a quick spell, not as a external alchemy, you can do cosmetic modifications to a body. You can adjust their height and weight slightly, change their physical appearance. If you have a lot of DOS, you might be able to do some more significant modifications. Obviously, if people are thinking magic nose job, magic boob job, probably, but whatever.
Hey.
That's not explicit in the rules, but yes, if you're is there fucking Beverly Hills of mages? Probably. Mages like money. And that's actually a weird bullet point I snuck into Mages at Law, because there can be a little bit of class divide between mages and classic Mages of War. You have highborns and lowborns, and people who have a lot of mage prestige and a lot of mage resources in their family, and people who just don't because they're not really that exceptional a talent. But by 2020, about 100 years in the future, there's a lot of this basically middle class mages problem, because so your family has a lot of resources and shit, but that's all. Think about our aging populace now. That's all tied up in your boomer ass grandparents or parents or whatever, and mages are probably transitioning out of having huge families. So if you've got 5 siblings that you're diverting all the assets between, you're no longer richer than God all the time. Never mind if there's applying more inheritance taxes or whatever in the future either. Estate taxes. So there are totally mages who are I'm just gonna make money. And that's a big theme of 2020 is being an operator, being an actually out there getting your shit done.
Axe, I want to interrupt you real quick here,
sure.
Omega. Axe, just look at human history, and you'll find examples of that all over the place. And it's
that guy's... they perfectly feel justified, I guess. I don't know. I don't think it's an idiot thing.
You're not an idiot. It's because you just live in the times in our times, no, we don't comprehend
we
those
don't
kind of
see
things.
that a lot. Well, and it can actually come up because there are still people who have that mentality, but usually for stuff still for causes. But yeah, also not to throw shade at you, Axe, but you've admitted you sometimes have problems with like the catching social cues and stuff. So that I know you have problems with empathy sometimes, like actually figuring out why people are doing what they do. So that's one of those things where you have to think and just like follow it. Yeah. Like, I'll say this, I think I have a lot of empathy, like I always have. Like, I'm really good at like feeling for other people and seeing stuff that's like I understand other people easily, I think, generally where they're coming from. But also I also have this thing where, like Axe is talking about, I just can't get evil. I kind of agree. Like, I understand why people do that stuff sometimes, especially if it's anything practical or pragmatic or even selfish in a sense. That's really easy to understand. Like, if you're like, why did you stab that guy for $5? Well, he wanted $5. Yeah, and you have to think about yourself. Why did $5 matter so much to that guy? You don't know. You don't know his life. But also, I have generally in the past done some pretty harsh critiques of, like, especially in fiction, factions that are evil for evil's sake, and people who are like, yeah, I'm going to support them. I've talked about Shadowlands and L5R players, or Chaos players in 40k, and I'm just like, woo, we're going to upset the system. I'm such a cool rebel. I'm like, you're dumb. You're a fucking cultist, and you're dumb. And that, by the way, is how that works, though, in real life, is take those people who in a casual, non-pressured setting are like, yeah, I'll play a quote-unquote evil faction and do something rebellious and horrible just for the sake of whatever, and then just put them in a situation where they actually have social pressure on them, and somebody is actually trying to manipulate them into doing wrong. That's how you do those things. Like, you catch people who aren't thinking too hard about it, or are under big pressures. Well, yeah, some of it's action set pieces. That's the thing that lots of stories have, is like, if you feel too bad about all the people you have to fight, it's rough, right?
Yeah.
Like, that makes it harder for you, and can make it harder for you to empathize with the protagonist. But, yeah, so, but a point I was going to make real quick, though, is, the thing about body shaping is, I have literally noted, the spell is too complex to do on an unwilling target. So it's like, you can't just... You could do that with ritual magic, and it would take longer, and that would definitely fall under one of the big taboos of magic. Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that, Goo. But for normal purposes, you can't just do the fast and dirty. Well, I imagine it's never really that fast. It's extended test. It's hours equal to their toughness mod, so it's how tough their body is.
It makes sense. It's like, if your body is resisting against change, like, your body, you have a lot more control over your body than one would think. You know, and muscles.
Also, remember, people are, even if people don't sense magic isn't everything. Like, I think somebody in some comments asked me if there was, like, an anti-mage or anti-phantasmal faction. Now, well, I did think about that, and now there's a, I think it's the Wild Hunt Club. It was something to that effect. There is a faction who is all about doing cool hunts, you know, for skilled challenges, and maybe sometimes they hunt the most dangerous game. Though, actually, honestly, the most dangerous game is demons, but mages are probably, like, number 2. The second most dangerous game. As like a rumor, because I love rumors and plot hooks like that. But it's like, is there an anti-tiger faction in real life, right? Like, are there people who are genuinely anti-elephant? Not really. Like, there are people who see this as a challenge or as a valuable resource, but nobody's like, man, fucking elephants. We need to fuck their shit up. That's how people think about phantasmals. That's the thing to remember about this setting, is it's a science fantasy kind of thing where magic is just part of the world, and it always has been. There's no, like, oh man, that fucking magic fucking up the natural order. Magic stuff just happens, right?
You have to remember, magic has been here just as long as the religion has been here. Actually, a lot of religion is based around.
Oh no, yeah, I did the reverse thing where you're like, ooh, religious people hate me. No, or magic is religion, because those people who have a deeper... Yeah, I expect that's what people are thinking, but that's why I'm, like, bringing up this point now, where it's like, no, magic is just part of the world and always has been, and honestly, like, and heck, there's uncomfortable religious philosophy questions in mages just as there is in real life, like people thinking, like, hey, so if evolution is true, does that just mean that we're, like, phantasmal apes? Maybe? I don't know.
But, this is how I always end, like, does it matter?
Well, yeah, that's probably a lot of people are like, does it matter? I don't know. I think the demons are trying to eat our souls anyway, so yeah. And honestly, we're probably gonna play a little bit about that. There's some weird stuff. one thing about Poison 7 is that I'm definitely starting building the kind of collection of weird characters.
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Because, well, it's more in the second section, but you get some hints of it where, like, Captain Lind Chase, FS Army, Etheric Warfare Group, because I had to come up with a cool status. Lind, by the way, spelled like the last name of Vesper Lind, because I may have watched Casino Royale recently, but based on the Germanic word Lind with an I, which is a word for serpent or dragon.
Yep.
And I picked Chase because I just wanted a fairly common English name that sounded cool. But she's got some stuff going on.
Yeah, she do.
Some weird, unusual things. And then, I don't think I've actually decided on Fiore's last name, but as she calls herself Black Rose, because she might be just a tiny bit tryhard. She also admits she's got a weird backstory. And I also very much modeled her on the idea of the in-game faction mechanic, where it's like, oh yeah, her backstory is she used to work for Azure. And in case you... So, I don't know if... hopefully people didn't think that Azure was going to be a good association for when I think I briefly mentioned them last episode, because Azure is a combo of Narcos and Big Pharma, which are groups Omega does not necessarily think kindly of in real life. So, they're not necessarily nice people. They are color-coded, though. Great wardrobe. But yeah, so Fiora explicitly calls out in the second section that she's got some weird backstory stuff that makes her a unique and special snowflake. And there are going to be other characters we meet, the rest of the setup, who have their own, weird things going on. Yeah, Lind is, Lind used to be in the military, so she's used to smashing stuff. Though she explicitly calls out that fighting is one of the things that helps her problem.
I'm sorry, I was enjoying the slight sexual tension in the last.
Oh yeah, there's the second half is a little spicy.
Yeah,
deliberately. They're supposed to have I kind of wanted that. Well, on the one hand, I kind of wanted, when I first thought of these characters, I was kind of thinking of like a knight and lady setup, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
Think who's like that, but also there's probably gonna be some interesting things, because it probably won't come up until way to the end, but as evidenced from the fact that she's like literally poisoned to touch sometimes, Fiora can take care of herself too.
Mm-hmm.
But that was Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I do like your description of her special equipment she needs to fucking sleep. I found that real interesting, honestly. Of just, if you're poisoned to touch sometimes, how do you deal with that in your everyday life? And the answer is a lot of custom shit.
Yeah, she has all of her clothes are custom tailored and long fitting. And just, you need to be comfy. She probably has to do, it's not referenced because I didn't get to it, but she probably has to do the thing like, in the Daredevil Netflix series, he mentioned that he needs to sleep on silk sheets because everything else feels awful. Like, in her own home, she probably needs to make sure she has special equipment, special, like fabrics, so that she doesn't eat them, like caustic them down. Because Fiore has what I dubbed elemental synchronization syndrome, which is basically because mages in the setting build up aether, that basically the ethereal energy naturally. They build up mana in their bodies, and because they have an excess, they are more consciously aware of it and able to wield it, and basically can make spells. So she's got a rare condition where if the energy stays in her body too much, it basically turns into her elemental affinity. So her natural poison aether just becomes a form of poison. So she's pretty immune for various reasons and doesn't hurt herself, but that's why she's described as wearing like, well, okay, we can phrase it this way. She dresses a little butch in the intro. She's wearing what you would associate to be like a men's style vest and long sleeved shirt, wearing long pants, sensible flat shoes, probably because she doesn't want to have any part of her leg hanging out and accidentally poison anybody. So she covers up, and she doesn't like to touch people. Wears gloves all the time, even when she sleeps. And then that's the really sweet moment at the end where Lind is like, because of her special quote unquote medical condition, which references a lot of stuff. She's like, yeah, I haven't been sick a day in my life since my accident, and it's teased here that it may have involved some bad shit, because she says was literally doused in wyvern's blood, which if you've read the Core Mages of War, wyvern's blood's really nasty. It's like, it does normal poison damage, and I think doubles all poison damage. It's just really bad. It's a really noxious toxin. And she's just like, and I lived, so you don't gotta worry about me. I'm fine. I have other problems.
Yeah. The problem is not that she's gonna go sleep in a tub with a bucket of ice.
Because that's the other thing she mentions. Meditation and isolation help if the other thing doesn't help.
Yeah.
And there's some other characters, like there will be I have the list. There will be a Chimerid character at some point, because I want to actually touch on that. There will be characters with some other broad associations. We'll probably have somebody who's even more heavily into tech stuff and cybernetics than Lind is. Though actually, honestly, I kind of liked writing Lind, and her, I can spoil her code name. It will be Dragoon in the future. That's who she is in my notes. That was kind of interesting because she's deliberately written. Well, Axe, you keep saying that. I guess you could say that it's poison related, but that's in her notes. Lind can't. That's the only element Lind has no experience with. I'm thinking she might be a natural void mage. Is her starting element. But her. Unlike a lot of characters I've thought of and how we usually approach them in Mages of War, I really wanted Lind to be a real all-rounder, she's a really talented individual. She's a prodigy. She's good at almost everything. But because of circumstances, she can't do her normal job. She got a medical discharge from the army, and I can say that that's at the same time that she got her injury. Her physical one, because she's got a prosthetic, which she's already added a cool implant blade to.
Ka-chink!
Compared to pressed gun, yes, but no. Honestly, most people probably are when there's fucking demons in your streets, raising hell, and fucking sewer goblins or whatever, you're probably this weird cat lady's not that bad, but also she may want to eat my flesh, so maybe she's a little bad.
I do remember I think there are some cryptid slum areas.
Yeah, that was a point in Mages of War that in Mages of Law, I should say, in Queen City, which is an analog for Seattle, they have a little bit of a rundown neighborhood, a little bit of, used to be part of the Docks District that's kind of come on hard times, and there's a lot of people left there because that's a thing. Mages don't move much. When mages build sanctuaries and they find a place that has the geomancy they like and whatever, they don't leave, because mages are used to investing long term, so they have the kind of the Lowtown thing, and because people don't go there, because it's kind of a shitty neighborhood, beastmen and chimerids can just move in and just hang out. At least the ones that can live in urban environments. It's noted that pureborn centaurs don't really do streets well, because, like we said, they don't do horseshoes.
I'm guessing non-purebred centaurs can do horseshoes? I don't know.
Possibly. That was a thing that's not touched on in law yet, but I brought up in the actual Mages 2020 rules that we're getting some weird crossbreeding now in the modern future. So you have mongrel beastmen, chimerids who are just you got a mishmash of traits. So you might get a beastman who's half horse, half lizardman. Or, God forbid, what if you got you could get a Pegasus beastman if you had crossed a harpy with a centaur.
Cool.
Gosh, I don't even know what that person would be like, because harpies are raptors, basically, so they're territorial, flighty, a little bit shifty, some of them are more corvid-like, so they're actually they like shiny things, so they're one of the few chimerids who explicitly have understood commerce throughout history, not in the way that it's mentioned in a couple places in the fiction that elves are vulnerable to capitalism because they've only just discovered it. But if you thought you could go up and mass market some snake oil to harpies, you'd probably get taken to school, because some of them, like I said, have been appreciating shiny gold things for centuries. But centaurs are horses, so they have actual literal horse-like elements. They're a little skittish. They're very perceptive, but a little paranoid. But they can be very sociable. So I don't know what you get when you combine a shifty, paranoid, sociable person going on.
Well, that could be. Wow, am I exactly at 0? I am. Okay, cool. Oh, sorry. What I've been working on the slide here is I've been making a XP calculation chart for RMA. So
yeah,
I can just type in a few cells and it'll calculate how much I've spent and how much I have left.
That's good. But yeah, so just to wrap up maybe with Poison 7 and stuff, that's kind of a thing we're getting to, is I want to show a variety of characters from a variety of factions who do different things. One of them will probably be a hunter, and I'm thinking she'll be Not that all. I think only most of them are going to be female, but they're not. It's not 100% a female organization. I thought about making that an explicit theme, but I think one of the characters, to not necessarily heavily weight the ratio too much to either way, I can make one or two of them male. Some of the designs are more ambiguous, but one of them is a hunter, and I think she's with the Wild Hunt Club, and I think she just, as kind of like a reference to Arknights, I think she just uses a crossbow and magic, and to be just as good as somebody with a rifle, because that's one of the things about the Wild Hunt is just they're all about that honest to God challenge, So they don't like technological assistance, so maybe she's from an especially purist strain who's like, no, I don't even use bullets. I will hunt with a crossbow. But also because magic, she's probably scary good at that. That'll be heavily contrasted with the character who's going to be all cyborged up and is going to have, 4 fucking servo limbs and stuff and do hacking. Because that's the thing I haven't really touched on in fiction yet is the machine talent, even though I did write those rules. The machine aspect actually turned out pretty fun. It's got a couple of different things you can do in it. It's got, 2 distinct columns, basically, starting with bug fix on one side and glitch on the other, basically.
Oh, did I?
So, bug fix is just you can repair a device. Because computer devices have integrity, and glitches you can fuck up a device. And then they're machine mages can use machines from a distance with technopathy. They can, use a device even though they're not touching it. They can speak to machines, so they get special abilities to study technology and programming languages and get bonuses to social skills with machine characters.
Sorry, I just realized.
Yeah. To answer your question, Rogue Robin, in the terms of the game, no. Poison 7 is, because I started, saying this is kind of like the intro fiction. Poison 7 is like a PC group. They're a small outfit of semi-independent operators, but many of them will have pasts or active associations with what the game mechanically calls factions. But there's only going to be 7 of them. That's kind of the reason why they're the 7. So that's, in game terms, that would not be big enough to call a faction if your contact network is 6 people and you. So they're really meant to model a player character group. A big one, and who knows, maybe some of them would be, if you were actually to play them, some of them would be NPCs who do support stuff, but yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's that, I just tabbed over to Twitter, there's that Sanzo picture you were talking about.
Yep.
I'll retweet that. But yeah, so at high levels, the machine talent lets you disappear from cameras, use electronic sensors as your eye, so you can connect to a webcam or microphone or something and sense it as if you were right there. Ultimately, their highest level ability is either to do a local EMP burst to disable devices and vehicles and shit, or do what I call full dive, which is just you possess a machine. You are the ghost in the machine. If it's a machine character, it's a drone or a robot or something, you take it over. If it's a computer or vehicle, you just get in there and act it. But hey, make sure your device isn't destroyed, or you'll take automatic 1d10 insanity because you have a near-death experience.
Oof.
As your body is destroyed and you snap back to reality. And be careful about your real boy body because there's no special rules for it, but your body is catatonic, which means that if somebody stabs you, if you die in the game, you die in real life.
Oof.
Or if you die in real life, you die in the game, I guess, is kind of the reverse. But yeah, it's a powerful ability, but also it's still don't be dumb. Did I do anything? I did add sensory back, but I don't think I did anything with their ability. Oh, I did add Mind Link. I added 1 spell and kind of rewrote some of the abilities. So now you can do a Mind Server with telepathy. And Barrier got a new spell in addition to Rebalance. Now Mage Armor is a spell, which is just do AV in all hit locations. It's magical.
Oh. Okay.
And it's ablative, so once you do it, it stays. Every hour you lose 1 point of armor in all locations, and every time you're hit, you lose 1 point of armor. So it will slowly break away and degrade over time. And honestly, that's probably a you mean the mechanical backgrounds, Rogue Robin? In game, yes, that's going to be Mages 2020 will have a different scale of backgrounds because the thing about I haven't written them yet because I need to work on the talents first because I think what we're doing this time is my design goal is that no longer are abilities necessarily unique to backgrounds, but that by picking a background or career package, you will get some talents and some skills and stuff for free automatically, but theoretically you might be able to buy them up later to kind of played as a theme
instead
that like
of
people are
excuse me.
very much more flexible.
So maybe instead of having like you have this like brands, you have to like buy like them from a list of talents or something.
Yeah, kind of. Like I said, I think I said this last episode. I'm looking at maybe doing package like points worth, so you have like 5 points to put into backgrounds and careers. So you could like, I'm going to take 2 2-point backgrounds, which give me like a couple stats, a skill training, and a talent or 2 for free. And then I'll buy like 1 career to emphasize that like maybe you don't have a lot of career experience, or you know maybe your 2 origins or backgrounds was like, okay, so I'm a mage and I'm upper class, so I've got a lot of money and I've got magic and stuff. Or I guess it would be like, maybe it would be, I'd figure out the exact verbiage. And then your career skill would be unemployed, which is going to be cheap. But yeah, so it'll be reworked and it'll introduce new things because, like I said before, the assumption is no longer that you're automatically military and you're not automatically mages, so it needs to broad out a couple times to like hit some of the different spreads. Okay. Like, for instance, to reference back to Poison 7, Lind is ex-military, so that would be her major career focus, is like she definitely 100% was in the army and left, literally in the army, because it's called out. And by left I mean was discharged. But like that would be her career selection, would be soldier, and possibly have some other special stuff going on, because she did special stuff. But on the other hand, as a comparison, that would not be Fiore's character background, because she was never military. She was a private scientist, basically, as her actual major career goals, before she decided to burn down all her research and leave. Because some stuff happened. How did I phrase that in the story again?
I do not remember.
It was something like, so I'm imagining her saying, and she's got an accent, so I don't know if I can do an accent off the top of my head right now. I've been talking a little bit, but it's like something like, so I may have come out that by workplace romance arranged the death of my mother to steal her research, which I built my whole career on, so I decided to resign, and may have destroyed a lot of my research. Which may be why they're hunting me, and I need a very, very expensive bodyguard. But hey, you get free medical. Hey. That's also, there's a major plot building point in this too. The first mention of Demon Bane, which the name is a reference, yes, but in universe that's basically like, because demons are all poison and shit, so what do you do about poison? Well, you've got nega poison, basically. It's a substance which counteracts the natural abilities of demons and demonkin. So if you were to like shoot up a demon with Demon Bane, like to poison them naturally, they would be affected like a normal human is if you like slap them full of arsenic or something. Like, maybe because they're technically made of magic and only corporeal because they feel like it, they wouldn't die, but they would have a bad day. And it seriously inhibits their powers. If you put it in contact with their creations, like their demonkin soldiers, people under demonic influence, stuff like that, that really messes their day up and might even kill them, because that's what Lynn is worried about. Is like, she's like, I've used Demon Bane on demon stuff before and I've seen what it does. I'm pretty sure that would kill me. And Fear's like, no, it won't. How do you know? Tested it.
Oh.
I've tested that. Oh no. Oh no.
Okay.
Honestly, that's kind of I think the meta text for Poison 7 is it's kind of about a character who has done a lot of bad things in their life, but realizes that that's, like, Fiore is a character who weighed hurting people versus trying to help them, and she was willing to hurt more people than she helped just to help them. But now she's come to the realization that's not how she wants to operate, so she's focused on helping more people than she hurts, basically. Because I will admit, sometimes when you're doing research, you do have to break a few eggs to make an omelet. But at other times, there are people who focus, ends justify the means kind of thing, and they're like, sometimes maybe they don't, because sometimes maybe you are doing a worse thing than the thing you're trying to fix, Like, if you develop something that kills cancer, but to do it you have to, like, cut out the still beating heart of an orphan, that's a little much. For me, anyway. Some people might not think that, but that's a commentary on a society.
Yep.
And to be fair, that is how Azure would operate. Azure would go, oh, it only costs one orphan heart to cure cancer? We can arrange that. Which is why Fiore is like, maybe I'm in the wrong business. And honestly, like I said, this is kind of, as Arknights is kind of informed, like, how I want characters to act about stuff. I think it's definitely, you can see some similar themes in Poison 7 to Arknights' greater story. Though I would say that Poison 7 as an organization is being only like 7 people. It's probably way smaller than Rhodes Island. It's kind of a similar idea where, like, rather than fuck some shit up, Fiore is like, I want to help people. Also, I have magic bone marrow.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't want to... that is one... I talked about that before. That is one of the new poison spells, is you can manipulate bones and use it to hurt people, but also to help them. So I don't know if she can patch her own bones, but yes, that's... if you've never done... Not that I've done it, but I've seen the needles and stuff they use. If you've ever done, like, bone marrow transplants or extraction, it's very painful and uncomfortable. It's serious business. And to make her little poison pill number 7... because that's how many tries it took to make it work. She needs her own bone marrow as their ingredients until she finds a better venue. And that's where the name is a hybrid of the two. It's, one, it's named because they're going to have 7 people in it. That's how many characters they decide. And then I retroactively work that to, like, that's the name of their major product that they're trying to get off the ground.
Okay.
So, have you finished up your XP chart thing?
Yeah. I, personally, have a total of my character is worth 250 experience.
It's pretty good.
From my 90 starting to +5 for morality, and it looks like I, personally, have gotten 155 XP in-game. I've marked all my expenditures. I've realized that maybe I should have not gotten battle meditation yet, because I'm not using it, ever. God damn it.
Well, there's 2 ways to approach that problem. One, either yes, you should have maybe not bought it because you're not using it, or maybe you need to use it more.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I know. We'll see.
I don't know if it'll. I don't know if it'll come up in the next session because I'm not going to say that you might not fight some things, but your character would definitely not necessarily expect to fight things.
Yeah, like the thing with battle meditation is I have to activate it, which takes a maneuver, and I'm always running at things.
You are
for me to activate battle meditation, I have to stop moving. I'm like,
or take some strain. Who knows?
Who knows? Anyways, and then basically I went over.
Maybe I'll make sure to set more fights where the enemy is already engaged with you.
Yeah, or something, or I just have to not want to go rush into combat.
That's a good question because I was just thinking about because technically the reason why I wanted those commando droids in the AP. Listen to it if you haven't already. I wanted them to engage with you is because technically I think even with Pierce 2, their vibro swords are less harmful. Because they're base damage 5, but Pierce 2. But their carbines are blaster rifles, basically, or carbines, so they're damage 9. No Pierce.
Yeah, base, yeah. I guess it also depends on the range that they're shooting at, too.
True. If they're at short range, they have a much easier time, so that's even more lethal.
Yeah.
Because average or long, which is harder.
Yeah.
And then you have too much concern because you got all your points in defense, and I know that you might not think that saved your bacon, but there have been a couple of attack checks against you where it's been like, well, that didn't do anything.
Yeah. Like I said, well, I guess we can talk about the Clones War games a little bit. Yeah. I will say though, I also. I was wondering, if I want to get all the skills to where I would want them currently, right now, which is basically I match all my career skills to my stats, so I just pull up yellows on everything. It would take me 160 experience. I'm like, that's a lot of experience.
That is a lot. Maybe you don't need to do that in all of your career skills.
Yeah. Well, like I said, let's see here.
Well, because that's also a thing, because I did the math, because it was I think the difference between having, yellow, yellow, green, and yellow, yellow, yellow is pretty small. It's 2 to 4% better success rate. Based against a check of a flat 2 or 3 difficulty. I don't remember which one it was.
Mm-hmm.
The big deal is that when you add more green dice overall. So but you can't do that for free basically. Or I guess you can if your skills go wildly above your stats.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's harder. But just those extra the more dice you have, the more total things you can roll, and just then from there it's upgrading how likely it is that you'll get successes and advantages.
Probably. Like, well, I did it for all my career skills, and like that includes pilot, space, and melee, which I'm like, I'm probably not going to be using these much, so I'll probably skip on those. But I do want to get like Charm 3, Cool 3, Coordination 2, Deception 2, Discipline 3, Negotiation 3.
Well, yeah, because we haven't done the next session where we confirm what everybody does with XP. So you should mention, because I don't think did you even talk about it in the AP? I think that was all off mic.
It probably was all off mic. But
you've been thinking about what you want to do with your specializations for a while.
Yeah, and I'm doing something probably a little weird because for my character, we got a fat stack of XP.
Oh no, we had a really big session. It was extra long, and you guys did really good. So I was like, "Fuck it, you guys had a lot of time. Let's get you some serious XPs."
And specializations are basically like the second most expensive thing in the game, and the most expensive thing you can almost get after character creation.
Yes, I think because they have the same scaling as characteristics.
Yeah.
Only the thing about specializations is that they can be out of career, which means they get even more expensive.
Yeah. So I bought Arama got her second specialization, which is an out of career specialization, which came from actually an Edge of the Empire book. The book is Far Horizons. It's their colonist books, and it comes with 3 specializations. It comes with the marshal, the entrepreneur, and the performer.
Marshal, by the way, is if you want to be a cowboy cop, and then entrepreneur is if you want to have loads of money.
And, like, I haven't really brought it up in-game a lot, but I'm really, really, really on the idea of Arama having a bar. And then I got the idea of Arama being a fucking bar singer. And I'm just like, I can't shake it. I can't fucking shake it. So I basically did a bunch of digging around, and I found the performer, and actually the performer tree is kind of really fucking interesting. Because it's a lot of... Actually, let me pull it up here. It's a social character. Let me see, can I...
Well, yeah, so in Edge of Empire, Colonist is kind of your skill monkey spec, because your others are stuff like Scout, Smuggler, Hired Gun, Bounty Hunter, you know.
Yeah.
Is it Outlaw Tech? No, I think Outlaw Tech is a talent tree. There's a tech head character too. So yeah. Colonist is like your face / general skills build. One of the Colonist specs, for instance, is in the core book of Edge of the Empire is Doctor. So Performer added to you, what was it? Charm, Deception, Negotiation, Melee?
No, they added a Charm, Coordination, Deception, and Melee.
Okay, so Coordination and Melee. All right. Yeah. Melee, obviously, I guess, because sword dancing. Did somebody move spoiler channel in Star Wars? Let's put those back. I think that might have happened. I fixed it.
Whoopsie.
Spoiler channel always goes at the bottom.
Ooh. But yeah.
Well, yeah. Are you going to talk about the talents, I guess?
Yeah, unless you had something more to say.
No. I was just talking about the general stuff.
No, like, they have, interesting, talents. Like, this one, distracting behavior. Make a distracting maneuver, and suffer strain no greater than ranks in cunning. Until the beginning of next turn, equal number of NPCs suffer 1 threat on checks. Range increases with additional ranks. I'm not sure entirely what they mean by range increases, because they just say equal number of NPCs.
Oh, it'll probably say in the fuller... They do this sometimes. In the full talent blurb, it'll be like, starts at short range or something.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. It comes with Smooth Talker, which is basically when you first acquire it, you gain a skill, and when you make checks with that skill, if you get a triumph, you can just spend your triumph just to get additional successes. I'm just like,
yeah, it's like how like Boots showed off his deadly accuracy this game, where he just gets extra successes on certain combat checks with chosen stuff. So like Smooth Talker is that for social stuff. There's one for like knowledge skills, I think, too.
Here's one of the things that pissed me off about some of these talents is they're rank based, but you only get 1 rank in it, and they're pretty fucking rare to begin with.
Yes, yeah, like, that is a thing that's like for really good talents that also want scaling. They have spread them out a couple of places to be like, no, yeah, this is a big deal. Like if you can find a second rank of something, you have to like go out of your way.
Yeah, and that's what I feel with Congenial. Congenial talent is may suffer a number of strain to downgrade difficulties of charm and negotiation checks, or upgrade difficulty when targeted by charm and negotiation checks by an equal number.
Yeah,
strength.
that's a really, really fucking good effect, which is why it's a rare. You only get one rank in tree. That's like if you can stack two of those people.
Yeah. But there's also like other ones like biggest fan. Like you put this one in your Jinsekai, because basically once per session you can make a biggest fan action where you make a hard charm check to turn one NPC into the character's biggest fan, and that sounds fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah, and I put that on the dancer spec for basically the bard type class in Jinsekai. I ported it over because it was like, no, this is perfect for that feeling where you can just be like, hey. But yeah, so Performer has a lot of interesting social manipulation stuff in there.
Yeah, so because I've decided like I'm gonna be the Jedi Knight, but the way that I'm seeing Arama shape up is she's pretty much done. She wants to be done with the fighting. She wants to work on fixing things that are broken instead of breaking new things. I actually called for a fear check in game, which you're like, oh yeah, no, you're right, we should do that. Because
it just wasn't in my notes because I wrote it all at once.
Yeah. So I was like, because Arama saw some shit, and I'm like, this sounds like something PTSD. I should probably make a fear check on it. And you're just like, oh yeah, no, everyone should do it because this is terrifying. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that's right. No, everybody should fear check. That's a good response to how you discover this thing. And there's honestly, I need to make you guys make more fear checks because that's one way that you Jedi pants can get conflict. It's just I have to come up with situations where it's like you're afeared. Don't worry, multiple mobs in on Sohelev have the fearsome talent, which means when they engage with you, they can make you make fear checks if they feel like it.
Oh no, not a former Jedi. She is still a Jedi.
Right. She hasn't decided to join the Lost or whatever. The Lost is 12 or something, and just bail.
No. Because Arama definitely has thoughts and feelings on what the Jedi are today. Well, quote unquote today. But it's not something that like to walk away is to walk away from the good and the bad. And this is not the time for that.
No, it's not. This would be honestly, that's probably a thing a lot of Jedi are thinking of, like, I don't necessarily agree with what we're doing in this war, but this is a really shitty time for me to bail. Which is, that's just talking the meta context, that's kind of Sheev's trap. That's kind of Papa Palpatine's move, is to trap the Jedi in a bad situation where they're not really doing what they're supposed to be doing, but the situation is dire enough that nobody can really stop, slow down, and actually unfuck this whole thing, because he's trying to arrange possibly a millennia-long Xantos gambit and just gotcha everybody.
So basically,
what
Arama is trying to do is actually, this is like actually a Luckyism. Lucky is a very defense and infrastructure oriented person when it comes to what's the word I want to use? City building, like laying like a base building, all that stuff. I always like to focus most on making sure that everything is taken care of before we start expanding. I don't like taking risky gambits that will potentially leave us open to like a devastating counterattack. You actually can see a little bit of this in the AP where I say no, where Master Lago is talking about, I'm going to flank them. And I was like, okay, if you're going to flank them, then we should just do a hammer and anvil. And it worked great.
No, and it worked. And that was the section that was like, okay, I want to leave some choice in there because mass combats are pretty, especially if they're going to be as detailed as this one was, they have to be a little bit structured. Mm-hmm. But you guys all seem to enjoy it, so hopefully we'll have that in the future.
No, it was great. Here's the thing, railroading is only bad when you try to railroad the character actions. You didn't railroad our actions, you just railroaded the setting.
Yeah, I structured the encounter heavily, which was like, okay, these are the parts I have in mind. If you want to accomplish the goal that we have established, you must follow the parts.
Yeah. And that was great.
The setting had enough justification where it's just like, well, he's a Jedi Master, and so he kind of came up with a rough plan. He wouldn't make you do something that you don't really want to do, but this is kind of the situation where, like you said, to refuse would be for Arama to be like, nah, and that would not really work.
Nope. So, Arama, she's not, she kind of wants to be a pacifist, but she knows that she can't now.
Well, you do the smart thing where you're like, it's not like, well, honestly, it's a question that comes up in the Clone Wars series. Not to give you another thing to watch, but if you have some time,
It's one of the things I need to watch.
I think it's still on Netflix. The new stuff is only on Disney Plus, but that's, the 7th season and shit, so... Oh, that reminds me, I think that I haven't watched those last 2 episodes. I watched the first couple, and I need to watch the next, because the Bad Batch arc is really cool. It's clones doing clone things. A lot. But also there's some Anakin Skywalker doing Anakin Skywalker shit, which is always pretty funny. Which is a conversation I think that stayed on mic where it was like, how would Arama think of Skywalker? It would be like, he's kind of cool, but I don't like the fact that he gets his dudes killed so much. Because that is the thing about Anakin in the Clone Wars is he doesn't tell his clones to do anything he won't do. It's just what Anakin Skywalker will do is a pretty big list.
Yeah. Let's see here. What was...
But that's like the pacifism thing actually comes up. There's an episode in the first season, I think, where there's some pacifist lemur people who are Irish. Like they all have wee Irish accents that are very squeakily pitched. But they are complete pacifists, and they believe that just by not engaging the war will pass them by. But the CIS are assholes, so they're like, yeah, we're just gonna firebomb your village as a live fire test. Bye. So, like, they have to kind of figure out how do we not just roll over and die, but also not break our principles, which in the end they do quote-unquote fight back, but they do so non-violently. They, like, tie up droids and, like, trip them and bind up enemies rather than physically hurt them, which is a really interesting compromise. And that's also the thing with the Mandalorians is, like, we're like, no, dude, we're not warriors anymore. We're super peaceful. We definitely don't hurt anybody, except for those weird extremists who are fucking doing terrorism attacks in the front garden and shit. Like, and kind of like, how do we deal with people who are threatening us if we won't, like, if you're an absolute pacifist, right? So you have to kind of, like, find the balance. Arama's in that situation where it's like, honestly, since this is a Yoda-ism, you probably took this one to heart. A Jedi only uses the Force for defense, never for attack.
Yeah.
Knowledge and defense. Which I think is a talent name. That's got to be a talent name somewhere. Knowledge and defense.
I wouldn't be surprised. So Arama, like, instead of always like jonesing to bring the fight to the droids, she is trying.
Unlike Cavis. So Marth's character Cavis has the morality, which is enthusiastic, reckless. So while we've in character we've called him out on it a couple times because I think that's good for his character growth. He is 110% the character who is like, yeah, I'm gonna take 2 maneuvers and sprint into melee with the enemy. Mm-hmm. And Arama's usually like, no, don't do that.
I do enjoy the fact that I didn't have to even roll. It's all like, I'm just gonna grab this kid by his fucking cloak and drag him back inside. And he's like, no, that happens. Yes. Good. Stay inside. But speaking of Arama's character, because actually, again, I'm starting to really like Arama as she gets more and more developed in play. She is now trying to focus more on basically building up the base and perhaps the villages around it, because you actually brought up something interesting that I didn't think about on the time. Is we just got you said enough for 2 battalions worth, and I'm like, do I necessarily like? And now, so I'm laying awake at night thinking, do I actually want to give those out to just people, or like, do we maybe want to like do like schedule out like some clones going out and doing some training and weapons and tactics for people?
Which you could totally do. That could totally be a mission if you wanted to set that as a thing, to do militia training.
Yeah, militia training and just, reinforce, because what we did in the AP is after we took the operation, Omega's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to just like leave it to nature? Do you want to like man this? And I was just like, no, we're gonna strip it and take everything back to our own base, which has its own goddamn problems. And Omega was just like, yeah, no, that's fair. So we basically just loaded that up, took everything back, because I say you always need your foundation to be the strongest.
Right. And it should shock nobody that at some point there will totally be at least one kind of attack on the base, because that's just how this works.
Yeah.
Right? This is that kind of story. I don't know which form it'll be. I have a couple different plans based on where your skills fall out, and the actual how you character develop and how the war develops, right? Like, if you guys kick their ass so much on the ground, they might decide, well, we'll just have to bomb them from the air, but also I don't want to do that if nobody has any fucking pilot,
Yeah.
Like, I would want to, if I did that, I would have to structure the encounter very carefully so that nobody feels like they're fucking useless.
I don't know, you can just put everyone in, like, some fucking AA guns or something, I don't know.
Yeah, like, workshopping. And honestly, the beauty of mass combat is that almost nobody needs specific skills except, like, leadership or knowledge warfare. Like, you need a commander to do commander things, but other than that, you guys can just do whatever suits your characters, and you did that a lot. Mm-hmm. And I feel like at first there was a lot of, like, can I just shoot them or something? Can I just do stuff? Can I look at them with my eyes, because that's the only skill I have? I'm like, no, like, you can... Now, maybe what you do won't be very big in terms of stuff, like, Marth's character did a lot of perception, which was mostly he just removed black dice from certain situations because he countered the enemy's advantage, basically. But he still had something to do, as opposed to bigger deals like shutting down, reducing enemies' effective strength and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, theoretically, if it was just, if it was like, okay, you've got a battalion of, like, AA guns and walkers, or a squad of them, you could still coordinate that through the phases. I just have to figure out a way to make that interesting. Would that be, like, time-based and just, okay, how many hours can you guys hold out, or whatever. Like I said, it will be shaped as the game is shaped, so...
Yeah.
Shoring up your base is not a bad idea, because totally it could be a thing where just maybe you just fuck off and, like, oh shit, somebody's attacking your base while you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
People like to do that.
Yeah. But, like, so, shoring up the base, like I said, we found out in the first couple sessions, but we have kind of a stress problem going on around here, and it's making people act crazy. So, like, I kind of joked, like, I can't say I kind of joke because I'm still on board with it, but taking Coke's old bar and turning it over, basically getting the business license for it and having it turn into our Ma's bar, so she can provide, rest and relaxation and entertainment for people in the area. And you were talking about, it's like, yeah, if you all want to take your duty reward and do that, you can totally do that. And what I'm trying to do is I'm not trying to pressure anybody necessarily into picking that, because the way that duty works is you either get a group resource or you get an individual resource.
Or you can ask for a loaner of, like, a strategic asset.
Yeah. So the bar idea is 110% my idea. Like, no one really else besides me has any investment in the bar idea. A lot of other players think it's fun and a cool thing, but we're also in a point in the game where we don't have a lot of crazy gear, and, some of our gear overlap is kind of wiggly.
And it's hard to... and it's... Because it's a military-style campaign, it is very much like an Age of Rebellion game, where it's like, you guys aren't, like, crawling in jobs where you get paid, 10k credits to split between the team every couple of sessions.
Yeah. So, like, I don't want to...
So, like, Ash needs 1k credits. That's gonna be some work. That's not an insignificant amount of money.
Yeah, so I don't want to lean on the group to let them have my bar when there might be other things that they might want.
On the other hand, the first level of duty reward is usually pretty shitty, because I think it's like rarity 4 or less.
Yeah.
It's like 3 plus your contribution rank, so your contribution rank becomes 1, so it's 4. It's not great.
Yeah. But, like I said, I don't want to, like, I haven't brought it up too much because I don't want to, like, get it in their heads that that's what we want to do, because if you listen to our APs, I lead a lot. I talk a lot. I make decisions a lot.
And part of that is because you're playing that character, but also some of that is because because the others let you play that character.
Yeah.
I think it will be very interesting in 6 to 12 months or whatever, because I acknowledge the audience, especially the patrons, are very spiced up about L5R. I'm glad they're so enthused, but they are, like, it's a little weird because I'm like, dude, that's way in the future, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's why I keep trying to tell people.
And we have to, like, schedule and stuff. Like, some people are like, oh, we don't know if Lucky's in. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Lucky's in if it's at all physically possible.
Yeah, it's just that I'm not hype about it because it's not happening anytime soon.
No, you've got other shit to worry about. But maybe some of these guys don't have as much stuff to worry about, so they're enthusiastic. But it's like, I'm very curious to see what that dynamic will be, because for a long... Well, actually, I don't know. We've had Eclipse phase recently, and both you and Ron are also very talky personalities. That's caused us problems in the past where you guys were pushing your characters, but not necessarily communicating with each other about where you were pushing them.
Mm-hmm.
But it will be very interesting to kind of see a different group dynamic with different people in a game that is very social sensitive, because on the one hand, I know sometimes you can get stressed if you feel like you're not being heard over people. You've had to yell at people in, like, VC and stuff because it's just too talky. On the other hand, I don't know if do you enjoy periods where maybe you don't have to be the decision maker pushing all the shit all the time and stressing about stuff? Like,
it's usually like, okay, I'm not trying to insult like anyone's intelligence with this stuff. I'm fine with it as long as I think the person is making reasonable or sound decisions.
That's fair.
When I think people are starting to do something weird for the lulz, or they're doing something stupid, at first I'll try to like, guide the action, like make a suggestion. But if it doesn't happen, no, I just fucking take over. I will use my forceful and loud personality to do so. Like, because as I said, I don't mind being a bystander. I don't. Actually, This is a problem I have in real life. I like prefer to be a bystander, but if the people I'm around, aren't particularly tasked about it, don't say they're good about it or they're weird about it, I'm just like, okay, fine. I will fucking step up and I will take care of this.
Which, like I said, for our home group is a very good dynamic because Marth also likes to sit back, at least with this character anyway. Loth has said he likes to step back. Axe is in chat right now, like basically like putting his hands up and being like, don't ever make me the face, don't ever let me do that. And you've seen that from Eclipse Phase where his character is not very social oriented, but when he accidentally asks questions that are important, but he's the only one asking and none of the face, if you're the face character. So if you're not there, or if nobody else jumps in to take the social bullet for him, he's not great at it.
Yeah.
So
like
you naturally take that leader position just because nobody else wants to jump in there first, and it's kind of like you as a person are not okay with a rudderless ship. You're like, well, if nobody's going to take the wheel, I'll take the fucking wheel.
Mm-hmm. So, like, as I said, like, and with, like, other people, like, sometimes, like, again, like, some people are, like, nothing against Loth, but I've definitely realized that Loth, likes to try to make things funny in character and in game sometimes. Like, you see this, we have to yell at him constantly to stop fucking posting GIFs.
When he's not in the focus, I occasionally have to be like, don't post unrelated GIFs, please, because you're distracting me sometimes. Because it's just and I'm just like, whoa, focus.
Yeah.
Don't ruin the tension.
So, occasionally, like, so he kind of has a play style where he likes to do things for the lulz, and so, like, but a lot of the other times he's all like, he has, solid good plans. So it's just like, I'm like,
well, and he's got he has a very serious face to his character too. I think that's just his natural personality. He is a little bit jokey and likes to like, and I'm sure he'll listen to this later and be like, oh, I don't think I do stuff for the. Well, sometimes you do, Eddie. Sometimes when you're posting unrelated GIFs, even if that's not in character, you're just doing that to amuse yourself and others.
Yeah, like
okay some of the time, but sometimes it's like I'm trying to set a tone here. I'm trying to murder you all. That's why I had mood music.
Like I said, if I can find some character models and stuff, I will totally draw. Can I offer you a candy bar in trying times? Because that still makes me laugh.
Yeah, sometimes the zingers are when it's an actual down moment, when it's a downbeat, that's perfect for comedy. And Loth will jump into those moments and he'll get a comedy beat because he thought of something funny and it sticks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like I said, his character does actually have some more serious aspects. Like, he actually asked me, because that's a character thing, is like, hey, how many clones died in that operation? Because I'm keeping track of all the brothers I failed to save. And I was like, you did pretty good. Let's just roll a small number. So I rolled I think it was like a D10 or a D6 or something. And it was like 4. But so that's an actual character thing. He's literally going to add 4 tally marks. And that'll be an in-character reference point because he's referencing all his brothers who have died, and like, so you've got some serious shit going on. Tavis doesn't yet, but that's kind of a point we had made where it's like, especially because Marth shot up really fast to the, because he engages his emotional strength and weakness a lot without actually doing anything bad. And that's part of why I need to do more fear checks. Because he handling morality is a little weird, especially in full-blown Force and Destiny campaigns, because we had this issue with Taket Taket is what I was thinking of, where if you guys, and I eventually learned to just not let you roll conflict if you didn't do anything conflict-worthy, like, sometimes you guys you're off just doing missions and doing stuff where it's not necessarily about your deep-seated emotional, moral conflicts, the game is not supposed to be an asshole about the morality scale. Like, it's not like, oh, you killed some droids. That's bad for your karma. That's not bad for your fucking karma. They're battle droids. They're idiots, but they're still trying to shoot you. And honestly, sometimes those, like, as goofy and incompetent as those guys are, sometimes those little fuckers are sociopaths.
Yeah, well, like, there's even with Marth's character goes, but speaking of players, Marth, I try to keep a fine line with, because Marth definitely wants to do things, and he gets upset when people talks over him for long
when
periods
he
of time.
actually wants to step up and do something, he gets a little flustered if people block him.
Yeah, because Marth's a quiet person, and his microphone doesn't pick up the greatest sometimes. So that's why I have to, like, I will sometimes stop and be like, hey, Marth, are you cool with this? You have any plans? And stuff, and he'd be like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, and I try to, when I have an opportunity, like sometimes when Marth jumps up on his own and we block him, that's bad, but also sometimes he has to leave and go do stuff, so it's, there is a little bit of, like, real-life elements to the thing we're working out with scheduling, but just in general, I've learned, because I've had quiet players, is just, and I think this is suggested in the text for some games, is just every time you need to, like, stop down and be like, okay, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Mm-hmm. And you can usually tell when Marth is really dead set on something versus when he's just figuring out what he's doing. Is he likes to type a lot. Mm-hmm. Like, I think a couple of times when I was acting for actions, he was just like, he just typed in, I would do perception again, and I get to it when I read it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's definitely a thing I've learned in GMing, is sometimes you have to stop, and even stop players that want to have momentum and be like, hey, what's everybody else doing? Like, this guy's in his fucking 7-hit combo, air juggle move. He's doing that for a while. What are you guys doing?
But yeah, just like I was saying, like, how all these players are, like, if I'm pretty sure if I, like, leaned hard enough, I can get everyone to agree to let me have the bar. Like I can make it
just because nobody will want to fight you about it.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that. Like, because. Well, exactly, Axe. Because I'll be able, I'll use my force of personality and just my overbearingness to just basically bully you into being quiet, and I'll just convince Marth will, like,
Honestly, I think Marth probably thinks it's cool. It's just like we said, I don't think he's super fussed about it either way.
Yeah.
And he's also playing a Jedi character, so he's like, I don't need things.
Yeah.
He bought a medical kit with his starting XP, with his starting cash, and I think he's set. Like, other than I think he invested in some armor at some point, and he'll want to build a new lightsaber, but that's not really a money thing, you know? So it's he's like, pretty good.
Again, I want the bar, but I want people to want it for their own reasons that are not my own. And so that's why, like, because I'm pretty sure, we're at 99 duty, aren't we?
Literally 99, yeah. Because you did the thing where you gave everybody an extra duty once in a mass combat, and then we got to the end and totaled it up, and everybody was like, oh shit, we literally at 99. If you did that one more time, you would have rolled over.
I should, like, next time we do mouse camp, I'm just gonna start farming that shit.
Well, that's what I said. You should have farmed harder. And also, honestly, like, sometimes it can be stressful spending threat and advantage and stuff, and sometimes they don't work out. Like, I'll admit, I went back to the well and gave everybody the, like, 2 threat to take 4 wounds thing from the mass combat chart a couple of times, just because, like, now this makes sense. You're in the middle of a pitched battle. People are getting hurt left and right. Like, shit's just happening.
Yeah.
Rogue Robin, also it was really easy to do that, because it's really easy to justify, whereas, like, shit like, oh, we notice a key piece of terrain or an asset or something. It's like, that means you have to stop and think about what matters, you know?
Oh, yeah. Rogue Robin, I see you mentioning, and yeah, for one, it's not a direct, open combat zone. We're on a combat planet. There's combat happening, but this is basically back at our main base and headquarters on the planet. And something that Arma has discovered is there's no real, like, honest rest and relaxation and stress relieving activities at the base. So people are literally losing their goddamn minds and turning it into addicted gamblers and drug users in the area. By opening up,
also there might be some dope pushing going on. Yeah, but that's a separate plot thread.
Yeah. And Arama basically just shut down the only quote unquote, well, probably not the only, but one of a bar. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what our fucking bar situation is here.
There's a cafeteria, and there may be another eatery or something in the lower deck zone. But yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it's not a place where you can.
Arguably, when people at the science base want to go out, they probably go to, I think it's called More Iriadu. They go to the big city, which is probably like 10,000 pop, maybe 10 to 20,000. It's like it was something we would recognize as a city, but it's still a weird swamp city. Like,
Yeah.
people go out to a public location if they can.
Yeah.
Because the science base is theoretically a government installation,
Yeah.
but it's also where the work is, because that's the government. It's like getting your private sector jobs. It's filled with it's filled with player characters, basically. If this was an Edge of an Empire game, this would be the place you go to get jobs. Is you go to the local government place to find work.
And so basically, what Armand wants to do is make a place of rest and recreation at the science base, so people can have a place to relax, have some legal drugs, have a legal drink, not have to worry about their shit being cut with something weird, and, basically work on the mental health and welfare of people at the base through in the only way she knows how. Like, trust me, at some point, I might just pick up influence so she can sing the Force at people. And that'd be great.
Yeah, you already have Sense Emotions, which has paid off a couple of times, and I suspect it will in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how all things, like, what was the episode where he actually did that? That wasn't Dancing in the Dark. Oh, I'm in channel videos already, I can check.
Hey.
So, show all. So, because since we decided we're doing titles, there was, I think, we have some arcs sometimes, so there's, the first episode of Welcome to the Jungle is kind of self-contained. Then Swamp Music and Dancing in the Dark is basically a two-parter. Then there was episode 4, I Ran So Far Away is the actual,
that's
we're tackling
the
the black market problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that was Rules of Nature, which is we bent back to army stuff. So basically if you look at the bigger picture, we basically interlace these two arcs. So I Ran So Far Away dovetails into Should Blinded Me with Science.
Mm-hmm.
And Rules of Nature dovetails into Ain't No Rest for the Wicked, which just came out.
Yeah.
And technically, it's been a while. It's been a break, but episode 8, whatever it will end up being called, will dovetail back into the plot from Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah.
Well, also though, I've arranged you're going to another weird swamp town in it, so it will dovetail into Swamp Music, or out of, I guess. I love phrases like dovetail and fork into and stuff like that. Anything I can say fancy that means segue or transition.
The bayou. We're going on back down to that bayou. We're going to see them swamp people. They're going to have that good old swamp crawl.
Yes, Swamp Omega's going to come back. They're going to warn you about the things down in the bayou. You got the swamp jaws and the mud sharks, and now you got the night stings. Or you don't go out at night, you get the night sting.
Another
I may have designed a new enemy for purposes.
Oh, great. That reminds, I actually we could probably do that in play, but one of the fun things about the mass combat, because we actually got a thing called the GM's Holocron, which has all these lovely little tables.
It's basically somebody did what I wanted to do and now I don't have to, which was take all the extra bonus rules in all the fucking rulebooks and put them in one digitized document that everybody can look at.
And one of them was, I can't remember, but we basically got help. Basically, one of the mass combat I can't remember, was it the heroic interludes? Where a bunch of Swamp Striders just appeared on thing and
because you guys latched onto the Swamp Strider so hard in Rules of Nature, I wrote that as one of the interludes between phases where I was like, okay, well, we're just gonna have a shitload of Swamp Striders show up.
And Axe, I think this was your role, because you had survival, is you were able to ring them all, and all of a sudden we have Swamp Strider cavalry, and I'm like, this is fucking amazing. Can we take them home? I didn't actually ask if we could take them home. So I gotta remember.
I think it's in one of the... There's life handling, and Cluns will actually train local cavalry units, so yes.
Yes.
You could probably arrange some pens to be built and, herd the Swamp Striders and use them for, recon and shit.
Yeah, because that'd be great. Again, build up... strengthening our foundation.
I think you rolled pretty good on that check, so probably? Well, yes and no, because, and that probably counts. I think it was because it was open-ended, but nobody wanted to necessarily step up because survival was not their primary skill, but you're like, fuck it, I got 3 cunning. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Axe is talking about how he was the one who made the roll, so it's it was kind of on your own, but kind of not, because you did what the people wanted, it's just nobody was sure if they wanted to step up and take the role, because...
Yeah.
And I think sometimes our newer players, Axe and Loth, are a little too concerned about the failure state. You don't give a fuck. You're like, I've got 2 green dice? Fine. I'll suck it up. And then sometimes you're okay, and then other times you're rolling a check you're really good at, and you're like, why do I have 5 failures? Where did I go wrong in life?
I think out of the wasn't there like 5 mass combat checks?
There were 5 mass combat checks. Yeah.
Yeah, and I got to spare on 2 of them. I'm all like, well. To
Honestly,
be fair, though,
that's
I'm pretty sure.
good though, because I think every check involved, except the last one, maybe involved a red die.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think like the fucking triumph. I think I got a couple triumphs in there too.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
You didn't get your double or nothing triumph, unfortunately, but you still did pretty good on that check. Though I think a couple more people got beat up still. Yeah. Actually, no, I think I did flip a dark side point and got you. You rolled a despair on that last check. That's how Captain Shark got inserted.
No, Captain
If you haven't met
Shark.
Captain Shark yet, you should. He's great. The people immediately loved him because he's just an enthusiastic clone captain, and he's got a shark mouth painted on his helmet, and he's just happy to be here. That's my secret, General. I'm always smiling. That's my D. Bradley.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing. If you're making that's the thing about Omega. If you're making decent decisions, a bad roll ain't gonna fuck you over.
And honestly, the way the dice are set up in Star Wars, especially, it's not supposed to be that. If you actually failed, either you were doing something really hard, or usually that means you rolled a lot of advantage instead, which means you might fail forward, basically.
Yeah.
Also, honestly, that's funny. I've just learned a lot from running games for 10 plus years now. What am I? I'm 27. I think I've been doing this since I was 16, so yeah, about a decade. I've just learned what I like and don't like as a GM and part of game design. And so as a GM, it's actually harder if players don't get clues and don't progress the story. That's not entertaining. I've never been that guy. Yeah. If we're running Call of Cthulhu, I don't want to be the guy where you guys... okay, if it's going to be a fun surprise, sure. I love it. You all failed a perception check. Nobody notices the fucking haunted bed frame about to kick you out of the window. True story. That was Ron, I think, got blasted out of the window. Or was it Marth? It was one of those two poor boys. Yeah, I ran the haunting. Fun stuff happened. But, if the clue is, how to find the big greebly monster or whatever, you don't want to fail that. That's where the fun is. You want the players to go there, and you want them to meet Cthulhu or Nyarlathotep or whatever, and you want them to go insane. That's the point. So, I've kind of developed this sense, and a lot of games reinforce it, where it's no, whatever quote-unquote core clues or whatever are, the players just need to get there. They need to get to the place where the thing is, so that they can interact with the cool set piece or whatever. That's how I ran and wrote a lot of Eclipse Phase was okay, you're gonna look at bursts of investigation, followed by, cool action sci-fi set pieces, or pants-wetting terror. Which I accomplished a lot of, I think. Maybe not literally, but in my tenure as an Eclipse Phase GM, there have been a lot of, oh, fuck me moments.
Honestly, I try to get into the headspace, and sometimes things are just weird, and that weirds me out.
Oh, yeah, no, that's usually that falls into sci-fi action set, or maybe not even action, but sci-fi set pieces were just yeah, here's just a weird space thing. It's just there. It's not even doing anything, it's just hanging out. And sometimes that's the scariest, where it's just what the fuck am I looking at? That happened in Envoy of the Yellow King. You discovered the Speech Zapper Turbo, which is a telepathic text-to-speech device, where
it freaked me out. It honestly did.
It finished your sentences for you in text form before you could say them. Which, if you don't know, the Speech Zapper is, I think, an app. It's based on a real-life riot control technology because most people freak the fuck out if you play their own audio back to them slightly slower. Yeah. I'm pretty used to it because of how we record stuff. Mm-hmm. Though I don't know how bad I would be on a longer delay.
If I speak slowly, I can overcome it, but if I speak fastly, I hear myself and I just immediately shut up.
You're wait, what? What's going on? Your brain is not... It's like an exploit in your brain. The human mind is not designed by default to handle that because why would it? That's not a natural thing. Mm-hmm. But so the Speech Zapper Turbo was just a random piece of Titan technology, which is nobody knows why they built it or what for, but it basically scans your mind and it picks out what you're going to say before you physically finish saying it because it's operating at the speed of computers and thought, as opposed to your vocal cords, and it's really freaky because it puts people off and they're like, what the fuck is this thing? Did you guys keep that, or did you throw it in a corner or something?
I think we put it in a specimen container.
Yes, you did. You dumped it. That's right. You had specimen containers, and you're like, okay, pop, seal that up. We'll send that to Firewall later. It's their problem. But yeah, that's Eclipse Phase is a really good one for that, and just in general, that's usually how I handle design, right? Like with Star Wars, like the mass combat was about that spectacle. It was like, all right, we're coming in, we're gonna do the big combat drop, we're gonna, do the initial assault, and then there was all the little like beats between, you said it, you felt the tension. I hope the other players did too, when just like you're just minding your own business, and I'm like, yeah, you hear somebody crawling around on the outside. I think it took Axe a couple of seconds for that to click what I meant by that.
Yeah.
Like, no, literally, this thing's like sloped. They're literally crawling on the outside of your hull. But then they're like, oh shit, there's these springy boys. And honestly, that really cemented, because I didn't necessarily plan for the commando droids to come up that much, but that little fight actually, I think, cemented them as kind of the semi-antagonist for the episode. Oh, and, boy howdy, they're gonna come back a lot, I think, now that we've established this rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Those boys are gonna come back, because they're not too tough, but they are a little bit tough, and they have some options, and I think they're just,
one cut open Armada bit.
Yeah, one gotcha.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, he was the important one. He was a real boy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because I figured that you would, honestly, because I wasn't necessarily expecting everybody to be fucking turned out on the outside, but then they all were, so that was even better. That, like, you were because I was thinking you guys would all be inside riding out the fight, and then they would try and, like, get on the roof and climb in. So no, only one of them needed to climb in, but that was still a very dramatic showdown, and you just fucking stole his cloak. It's mine now.
Oh, like, honestly, I wanted to give Axe a cloak, but I'm like, I want this cloak. It's my trophy.
It's really
cool.
My
trophy.
And then you just handed Cavus when he dropped his electro binos because he rolled really bad. You just handed him some spares. Just like, don't drop these.
But I like sweet cloaks. Like that's one of those things about, like, divvying up loot is one of those things I'm also pretty bad at. Cause rule one of understanding Lucky and how Lucky plays is Lucky likes stuff. I love stuff. And it's kind of hard for me to give up stuff that I don't have a reason necessarily to give up. Because, like, Axe, you are listening. Do you actually have stealth as a career skill? I don't know.
Yes, he does. He's an ARC trooper. That's one of his things, is actually sneaking.
Yeah. So, like you can say that, a stealth cape for a stealth character is great. But I will counter that at saying that I do not have stealth as a career skill. Therefore, I can use any little fucking bonus I can. So, like, that's why I'm like, I don't want to give this up, because for me, stealth is the way to not have to kill people or get shot. And so you can bet your bananas that I will, like, use it. And honestly, talking about, like, specs and whatnot, I'm pretty sure, like, my third spec is
cool. Sorry, I'm looking for reference images, and I'm wondering if there's, like, images of cloaked droids. There's not, from what it looks like, but there are some sweet, apparently there's some toys of battle droids in fucking, like, a woodland camo, just painted on them. That's pretty sick.
That's pretty sick. But, like, my third spec is probably gonna be, Padawan, and it has a skill in there called Well-Rounded, where you can just pick 2 skills of whatever and get them as career skills. And I'm considering stealth and survival, or maybe like survival and a knowledge skill, or a knowledge skills and stealth. I don't fucking know.
You'll get there. It's great. What did Marth add? I think one of them was medicine. I don't know what his second one was, or if he's even there yet. He might not be there. I think it's like a 3rd tier talent.
But, like, and that's honestly one of the main reasons why I want Padawan, is because I want more. Like, I like
Padawan.
Talent.
It's weird. You've kind of swung around on Padawan. We started, you were like, man, Padawan's a real basic bitch spec. I don't know if I want to go that route.
Yeah.
And now that we're actually in play, you're like, holy shit, I just want some basic bitch shit. Like, I want more skills, and I want to die less, and I want to be better at checks. Like, yeah. I don't care that. What are actually really I guess the honestly, you do probably care, because I think the, like, high level knight stuff is, like, you can parry for other people or tank, basically, which really fits your character in a lot of ways. But, like, even though you're buying it, I don't think you're super jazzed about buying, like Researcher, right? Like, you reluctantly bought that because you were like, wait, no, this makes sense. I might actually use this in this campaign.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
So it's like, I'm like, I just need more XP. I need more XP. Because at certain points, like, I don't, like, you don't have to buy all talents in a tree, but you can usually benefit from all talents. And
yes, sometimes your build is like split between a couple options, but usually the different branches of a talent tree are like, no, these are all things you can benefit. They're part of the build, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're, considering how expensive we've talked up how specializations are, you're really leaving EXP on the table if you aren't getting all the stuff in your tree because you bought a fucking tree. You better get your, like, it's kind of like you need to double down on your investment. You need to spend money to make money, basically, because if you don't actually invest in the talents and skills that are tied to your specialization tree, you could have just as easily bought more skills, bought more talents, bought a different specialization, and done something you're actually going to use. So you want to pick them very carefully. Now, the game has loads, so you can usually find what you want. Like, Lucky can laser focus and be like, oh shit, I can be a performer.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than necessarily, because you were debating for a while if you wanted to pick up a Force and Destiny face spec, like Advisor or something.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to skip a lightsaber tree in this sense. You'll just take your basic lightsaber abilities from Knight and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Padawan has another like rank or two of parry and reflect.
Yeah. So I think I'll have like parry and reflect 3, but I'll also have like improved parry and improved reflect. I'm like, no, that's solid. Yeah,
you've got most of the benefits out of picking a lightsaber tree. You just have to still use Brawn, which isn't the worst. You'll just buy more lightsaber points if it gets bad. And
I said I'll be getting things like I'll get like saber throw. I can
you get saber throw. So you're really just missing like most of the lightsaber spec trees have like a really couple of signature moves that are really good. Like my personal favorite Xian has like I think it's like Falling Avalanche, which is like add force dice to a lightsaber cunning check because it's cunning based and turn them into success to do more damage, or like disruptive parry, spend threat on a parry on a character who you parried's combat check to upgrade your next combat check against them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I think another one is you get to do a free move maneuver after you reflect or parry, which is really cool because it negates the fact that you have to watch your mobility while deflecting. You can just approach people who are shooting at you at range. You don't get those unique special abilities, but you get the general spread of parrying and stuff like that. And honestly, you still do, because I think Guardian of the Republic is still a bitchin' ability that's parry-based, basically.
Yeah. So, I basically got enough what I want for lightsabers. It's just, now I want to basically focus on being a social character and a wartime singer. But it's just, at the same time, I just don't want to be so overly focused on social stuff that I can't do other things.
Right, because this is fundamentally a Clone Wars campaign, and the rest of the other characters built it with warfare in mind. Like, if everybody'd rolled senators or Republic advisors or whatever instead, the campaign would probably be way different.
Yeah.
It would be about saving the trees and saving the swamp creators, I think. Or if you had rolled, say, Loth had rolled, Clone Pilot, and somebody had rolled, Republic Navy Officer or some shit, we'd have a space campaign instead. But this is ground-focused, so it is how it is.
Mm.
Honestly, that's okay. Axe is talking about not having knowledge skills. Knowledge skills are usually specialized, and your big-brain Jedis are going to take care of a lot of that.
Yeah, honestly, I'm pretty sure one of my career skills is going to be a knowledge skill. I might pick up knowledge underworld, because I have met Lopak, and we are talking business. Who knows?
Yes. You never know. Everybody has always also been wondering about, when can I get knowledge xenology? Because you're like, oh my god, a horrible woodland creature.
Oh shit, I probably could consider that too. I don't know.
No, you only met a couple. You've met swamp striders, and you personally specifically got bit by a mud shark.
Yeah, that hurt.
Don't worry, we'll have more wildlife next time.
Great. But, so yeah, Arama continues to be interesting. She is channeling One-san energy. It's great.
Well, by the way, I didn't want to say it earlier because we were having a flow, but we are now at about 3 hours, 20 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
We got a little bit of wiggle room, so we can probably edit this down, but yeah, I just wanted to bring up that we're probably should wrap up What's Up at some point soon.
Yeah. Honestly, we can always save more for, I guess, because honestly, I don't know if next week we'll actually trigger our duty, because we just need one person to trigger it.
Yeah, one person, period. We'll see.
We'll see.
You say next week, it's not tomorrow.
Oh, well, that is next week.
Yes, but it's still pretty close. The audience may not realize what we mean by this depending on when it comes out. No, it's Saturday right now. We usually game on Sundays, and so presumably we will again. I made sure to sit down, I think it was yesterday, and prep the session. It took me a second to, get my wheels turning, but I got there. because I will say really quick before we drop off, sometimes I have more focused design than others. Like, for the mass combat, I, like, really planned it out because that's how the nature is structured, and I want to make sure there was enough there that everybody could do everything interesting. Other adventures are way more open-ended. Some of them I write, like, no notes other than just, like, I jot down a guy's name. So you guys may be astonished to know that for, She Blinded Me with Science, I literally wrote down just what you could investigate. Everything else was either made up on the spot or from memory.
Huh.
Which is why sometimes I was a little bit like, I don't know what to do with your advantage, because I didn't necessarily extra plan for there to be extra clues, you know. But at other times, it's just like, whatever. Just whatever sounds logical. So this one took me a second to, like, figure out what my rough sketch was, because I just was like, you're researching a thing. I kind of know why you're researching it, but I need to figure out what you're doing and what you'll encounter along the way. And so I just, my brain chewed on the problem for a little bit until I was like, no, okay, we'll do these elements in this place. And that's why I decided to, like, introduce another city as, like, a starting off point. So who knows, maybe you'll even get paid and you could do some shopping.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's probably as good a point as any to wrap up. I do want to, actually, probably should have breached this earlier, but I was thinking about it. So, next week will be Let's Talk FGO 130. That should also be our Lost But 1 preview. Especially since I goofed up the scheduling. Lucky, what do you say next week we do a live Let's Talk?
I'm okay with this.
Okay. It's been a couple months. So we'll do that. I don't know when our next... Which What's Up is this? I think our last one was 75. I think we're somewhere in the 80s. I will check really quick on mic. The silence will be edited out. So this is 79. Okay.
Alrighty.
So we'll probably wait until 100 before we do another live one. But we'll figure it out. Alright. So, I guess that's where we're wrapping up. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you like it, be sure to give it a like. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below, or hit up our Discord. That link is always in the description and on our channel page. And if you are new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel to get all our latest episodes, like all those APs we're talking about, like Let's Talk FGO, etc., etc. And of course, even if you're already subscribed, consider hitting that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video or when we stream. We didn't really talk about it, but we are streaming and we are fixing things and improving. Lucky stream saved, even though he says he didn't do anything different, which is miraculous. Yeah. Computers don't usually do that.
Yeah.
And I switched over my stream setup completely to OBS and stuff, so I have, like, futz with latency and I can use my real mic. And stay tuned for that with notifications. And like it says at the front of the show, consider supporting us at Patreon. You can get this episode early in audio format as soon as it's done editing. You get access to the videos early, you get access to polls and stuff, and just have a real fun time. Notice how we talked to, like, 5 different people? That's probably because most of them came and left while we recorded this episode that's 3 hours and 20 minutes and still going longer because I'm not shutting up. But at a high enough level, you can listen live, and you too can listen for like an hour, get bored, and leave. All right, that's the show, and we're ready to go. And I can't do a pollen bomb joke because we did that in Let's Talk.
Swamp bomb.